Giants next on the WB11.
You got your career off to a great start, but now you're falling behind. If you want to catch up, it's time to complete your bachelor's degree at DeVry. With our technology-based courses, you'll acquire the skills businesses are looking for today, and you'll find our evening and weekend class schedules will work with your schedule. DeVry, the right choice. To learn about our bachelor's and associate degrees, call 1-800-DeVry-11.
Father, daughter, conservative, liberal, Rachmaninoff, rock and roll, practical, not. What brings them to the table? Introducing Honey Nut Chex, a delicious new taste, an amazing new crunch. If they could share this family value, what next? Maybe conversation? Maybe next time. New Honey Nut Chex. Welcome to Generation Chex.
To make my family happy, just add water. But that can mean planner work. So I use new Compound W one-step pads. They're waterproof and cushioned. Compound W one-step for planner work. It's new, it's waterproof, it works.
Little hurts can happen anytime, so I keep Dermaplast ready all the time. It's the #1 pain-relieving spray used by hospitals.
And it works fast, too.
So for all those hurts that can happen anytime, keep Dermaplast ready all the time.
I am surrounded by beautiful things. I am surrounded by beautiful things.
Right now at Marshall's, you'll find the latest home fashions and gifts for up to 60% less. Choose from lovely china and decorative glassware, fine cookware, and much more. We've got something special for every occasion. And at these prices, you can treat yourself, too.
I deserve something terrific.
Marshall's, brand names for less. Every day.
Sign my neck, Buster, please. It's Buster! That's Crazy Larry! Hey, Buster, you're so cool! Dude, wait! Wait, Buster, wait! Oh, you awesome! Hey, Buster, dude, where'd you go?
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
But it'll cut into my trick-or-treat. I'm just gonna sit my line and go.
I just won $1,000.
I can't get it out.
1999 has brought some fresh new faces to the Mets, such as Robin Ventura, who homered last night. He's among the league leaders in RBIs, delivering as advertised. And of course, you get the consistency, professionalism, and intensity of one-time Cy Young Award winner Oral Hershiser, who faces the Giants at Shea up next. This afternoon, it's bet day at Shea Stadium. Office Depot is providing the wood for the kids, and the Mets hope that the big league bets are going as well today as they look to increase a 3-game winning streak. From Shea Stadium in Flushing, Queens, WB11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball. Today, the Mets take on the San Francisco Giants. Your starting pitchers for today's game, a couple of right-handers, Chris Brock for the Giants, and Oral Hershiser for the New York Mets. Hi again, everyone. I'm Howie Rose, along with Tom Seaver and Ralph Kiner. Gary Thorne is on assignment this afternoon. So the Mets have won 3 in a row, and today they'll give the ball to a guy who pitched for the Giants last year, Tom, Oral Hershiser.
Oral Hershiser, a veteran, gives the ball club a veteran on that pitching staff. Last year, of course, he pitched for these same San Francisco Giants. He gave them over 200 innings pitched. He won 11 ball games for him. In his last outing in Chicago for the Mets, he struck out Sammy Sosa, he struck out Mark Grace, but overall he was inconsistent. just couldn't get his fastball over. As you can see, he's pitched less than 6 innings in all 4 of his starts. But being a veteran, he could come back right back like he did last year, win 5 in a row for this ball club. A veteran player could always do that.
And one veteran player the Mets have received instant production from this year. One of the newcomers, Robin Ventura.
Well, he did well in the American League and doing just as well in the National. Ventura with a home run right here off Estes, and it's a left-hand pitcher on the mound, and he has worn out left-hand pitching so far for the New York Mets. Estes not happy with that pitch as Robin goes around the bases. 3 for 4 last night, 3 runs batted in, and against left-hand pitching, 379. So Robin Ventura, a great acquisition for the Mets.
A cold night last night at Shea Stadium. It didn't bother Ventura, though.
I don't know if it was real comfortable. I mean, you know, I just got a couple good bats that, you know, I swung the bat pretty good. And you know, I don't know. Normally, I don't really feel that good in the cold, but, you know, today I felt decent at the plate. And I don't know how to explain it. I think, you know, we kind of turned the corner a little bit with when Mike hit his home run the other night. You know, that was something that we've been waiting for a long time, for, you know, somebody to come through with a guy on base. And, you know, tonight we swung the bats, you know, fairly well.
Robin Ventura helped break a San Francisco Giants 6-game winning streak last night. Now, a lot of people seem to think that the Giants and Mets will be wild card opponents down the stretch. Giants manager Dusty Baker, though, is not in a position to concede anything to anyone yet.
Well, that's what you say, play for the wild card spot. If you talk to me and Bobby, we're playing for the divisional titles and then take the wild card if that comes. And no, it's not too early. I mean, last year was pretty evident, actually, of how important these head-to-head games are. The fact that, you know, we had to play that playoff game in Chicago versus in our ballpark, and that's because they beat us head-to-head. And so, yeah, it's very important. Also, we're very similar. You know, we're a team with both teams have relative power, play good defense. I think we probably have a bit more speed, but they have some experienced players and hitters like us. We both have outstanding bullpens, so I think it's going to be a heck of a series and a heck of a race.
So Dusty Baker's Giants and Bobby Valentine's Mets continue to set their sights high as the Manhattan skyline for Game 2 of this 3-game series. More from Shea coming up right after these messages.
During Dodge Adventure 99, America's best-selling, most innovative minivan now comes with a $1,000 cash allowance. Or you can choose a vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. It's the adventure of a lifetime. And we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
There's big news in the shipping business. Now there's a shipper that confirms your packages will receive. A shipper that uses digital scanners, lets you check on delivery by phone or internet, and can save you up to 65% over 2-day services. Which one is it? The U.S. Postal Service. Introducing delivery confirmation for priority mail. So, now what's your priority? Like an eagle.
The new New York Lotto is better than ever before. Fewer numbers, better odds, more prizes, and this week's estimated Lotto jackpot is now $15 million. That's $15 million.
Cool.
Experience America's favorite movie live on stage. Come along with us down the yellow brick road.
They're perfect. Now, do you have anything in a size 3?
Dime presents The Wizard of Oz, starring Mickey Rooney and Joanne Worley. Live at the theater at Madison Square Garden, May 6th through the 16th. Brought to you by Colby's.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Stop by your local Toyota dealer and test drive a Camry. Toyota every day. By Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who remind you that fresh beer tastes better. By Ford Cars and Trucks, built for the way you live at your Tri-State Quality Ford store. AT&T Wireless Services. It's all within reach. AT&T. And by Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on Earth. Closed captioning is provided as a public service by 1-800-Mattress. Leave off the last S for savings. This has already been a special day here at Shea Stadium as pitcher John Franco was the subject of pregame ceremonies. And with more on that, let's go downstairs and join Sean Kimmerling. Sean?
Thank you very much, Howie. Quite a day for the kid from Brooklyn. John Franco Day here at Shea Stadium. Franco honored for that 400th save. Came back on April 14th against the Florida Marlins here at Shea. Franco only the second man to reach the 400 slave plateau. The other guy, Lee Smith, who is also on hand for today's ceremony at Shea. Franco couldn't believe that Lee Smith had shown up all the way from Louisiana. And there you see Lee Smith, who had some nice things to say about John Franco. And then the real surprise guest, former Mets reliever Tug McGraw, who rode out on a brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycle, a gift from the Mets to John Franco. And Franco also got a leather jacket bearing the number 45, which was also the number Tug McGraw wore for the Mets. Afterwards, I talked to John Franco and asked what he thought about the Mets' gift to him on this occasion. Your thoughts when you saw the bike at first, and then when you saw it was Tug McGraw riding the bike?
That was awesome. I never rode a motorcycle before, so I'd have to take some lessons from Bobby Bonilla, but I seen Tug coming in from third base. I'm ecstatic. I mean, for Lee Smith and Tug McGraw to be here, it's just awesome. It's a beautiful feeling.
I hope this day works out a little better than the last day they honored you here after the 300 save. You remember what happened then?
Yeah, I promised my wife and kids I'll be nice and calm today no matter what, and I got Bobby to protect me today, if anything.
No ejections, right?
No ejections.
Thank you, Chuck. Congratulations. Met fans hoping John is real careful on that motorcycle. If you're wondering, Franco with 405 saves, that's 73 behind Lee Smith for the all-time lead. Howie, let's go back upstairs to you now.
All right, Sean, it was interesting that Lee Smith said, I hope, John, you stop at 477, which would allow Lee Smith to keep the record for himself. But the New York Mets, having won 3 in a row, will go to work against the Giants this afternoon in the middle game of a 3-game series under near-perfect weather conditions. Certainly a lot warmer than it was last night, huh?
It is a typical spring day, and on the 1st of May, well, I guess the season is officially on.
The 1st of May, I know one Met who's glad to see the calendar turn is Brian McRae, who normally gets off to slow starts, but he has started to heat up just before the turn of the calendar. Our umpires for this afternoon, Mark Wegner will call the balls and strikes with Ed Rapuano at first base, C.B. Buckner, the umpire, at second, and they don't call him balking Bob Davidson over at third for nothing. Davidson calling another balk last night, and it led to a Met run directly as Sean Estes was charged with the balk. And so Orel Hershiser gets set to go to work for New York. Hershiser will make his 5th start of the year. And right now we'll take a look at the order that he'll face. It's the AT&T Giants lineup. Marvin Bernard leads off and plays center field. Armando Rios, hot swinging rookie for the Giants in left field batting second. Ellis Burks is in right. The ex-Met Jeff Kent in the cleanup spot. J.T. Snow at first base with Charlie Hayes at third. Another former Met, Brent Maine, will be behind the plate. Rich Aurelia, just back from an injury, is the shortstop. And Chris Brock will be the starting pitcher for the San Francisco Giants.
Orel Hershiser on the mound this afternoon here at Shea on an absolutely perfectly beautiful day. Orel making his 5th start, 1-2, with a 5.2 earned run average. Of course, the Mets picking Orel up as they left spring training. It brings a veteran to their ball club. Looking at the Met defense, some off days for some of the Met players. Matt Franco will be in left, Brian McRae in center, and Roger Cedeno in right. Ventura, Lopez, Alfonso, and Olrud around the infield. Todd Pratt does the catching, and Orel Hershiser on the mound.
And the defense brought to you by Ford. Matt Franco, part of the defense this afternoon in left field. He's making his first start of the year in the outfield. So Oral Hershiser getting set to go to work against Marvin Bernard. Bernard strictly a left-hand hitter, so he didn't play last night against the southpaw Alan Watson. 1-0 to Bernard. Speaking of southpaws, Tom, how'd you like your old teammate Style there on that Harley coming in from the bullpen?
I wouldn't have expected anything less. I'm surprised he didn't do a couple of wheelies, I'll tell you.
1-1 to Bernard. I'll tell you what, it's a good thing he stayed off the infield dirt, too, or I think Pete Flynn might have chased him around the whole ballpark.
He'd have gotten Pete Flynn's Irish dander up, I think, if he'd have done that, lad.
So Tug played it smart, as he usually does, and Hershiser deals 1-1, and that sinking fastball downstairs.
Now, whether you should give a left-handed reliever who is playing Major League Baseball a motorcycle, I'm not too sure about that. What do you think, Ralph?
How about a three-wheeler?
Of course, that's a shot against all left-handers. 3-1 to Bernard. So, in other words, if it was a right-handed reliever, it'd be okay.
Well,
you'd have more faith in his ability.
It wouldn't be as bad if it's, the left-handed reliever.
Marvin Bernard's got that left-handed helmet on, which looks like it goes back about 30 years. Ball 4, and Hershiser, who had some control problems his last time out, when he walked 5 in just 4 innings in Chicago, starts off by walking Bernard.
He didn't have good command in Chicago, and he bounced a couple of balls in front of home plate here. His objective is to be a little bit more athletic today, try to get ahead of his hitters. He did, when you're making bad pitches, as he did on that 3-1 pitch, not even close, and you try to find mechanically what you're doing incorrectly and correct it as quickly as you possibly can.
Well, he starts off by throwing a strike to Armandus Rios, 0-1. Of course, Hershiser has not been able to get past the 6th inning so far. He had some quick innings in his second start, outside there to Rios, 1-1. His second start against Florida was a very good one. He went 5 2/3, giving up just 3 hits and a run, and he did get a couple of fast innings in.
Well, you saw the scouting report, and to me, the most important aspect of that scouting report is maintaining and taking control of the strike zone. They'll check the runner at first. One of the things he did not do in Chicago was have command of the strike zone, did not have good control of his pitches. He has to have good control to be successful. He always, they got a chance.
But Olerud doesn't handle the throw, so Bernard will go down to second base. Big turn by Bernard as Olerud plays it back in, and the Giants now have a man in scoring position with nobody out.
One of the things the Giants do, they run a lot. Bernard with 6 stolen bases and 6 attempts to throw to first base was not a good throw. So again, control a problem here as the ball gets away, and that should be an error charged to the pitcher.
Well, Oral knew that he had a good shot at him. He just missed it.
Well, Rios does his job. He hits it to the right side. That gets Bernard to third. So Armando Rios, the Giant rookie, makes a productive out. Now the Giants have a runner 90 feet away with 1 man down. And that'll bring up Ellis Burke. So good job by the youngster Armando Rios.
Rios is a real strong prospect. He looks like he might be an outstanding player. He hit home runs in the 2nd and 3rd at-bats in the major leagues. They were pinch hit home runs. Only 1 man has ever hit 2 consecutive home runs in his first 2 at-bats, and that was Bob Neiman. Wow, he is having problems.
Nice stop there by Todd Pratt to bail out Oral Hershiser.
That's the same kind of pitch that he made in Chicago. Several of those that were way outside and low. That one bounced. He's thrown about 4 of them already that have hit in front of the plate. This one way wide out of the strike zone. That last pitch, ball 1.
And the 1-0, a chopper to the left side. Bernard held nicely by Ventura, 2 men away.
Boy, that was an outstanding move by Ventura. He held the runner close to the bag and then threw quickly to first and kept the runner at third. Watch this. This is good defense.
That's one of the reasons why you win Gold Gloves. You do things mentally correctly. And the veteran player for the Mets at third knows exactly how to play that position at third base. That's a great play.
Bobby Valentine had the infield up on the right side. Ordonez, the shortstop, was deep, and Ventura, who was even with the bag, with a good play. And now Jeff Kent, first ball hitting. Nice pick by Lopez, and Kent is out at first. Luis Lopez throws out Jeff Kent. Met fans well familiar with that head-first slide into first base. So Lopez throws out Kent. The Giants don't score. Middle of the first, the Giants nothing. The Mets are coming up.
On the edge of defeat. Poor Captain Sisko. The balance of power may be overturned by a single defection on an all-new episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Tonight at 7 on the WB11.
Investor?
Yes?
Have you tried that Discover brokerage on the internet?
Mrs. Yost.
Yes.
Thank you so much for bailing out my country.
Oh, you're welcome. I was happy to help.
The event you've been waiting for is here. The biggest selection of award-winning Chrysler and Plymouth cars, now for a limited time during the National Chrysler Plymouth Spring Sales Drive. Get big cash allowances up to $1,500, or our lowest APR 1.9, or low lease rates on every 1999 Chrysler and Plymouth. The National Chrysler Plymouth Spring Sales Drive, for a limited time only. See your Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
Hi, I'm Mike Piazza, and this season I'll be taking it to the field to help make baseball better for neighborhood kids. I've joined an all-star team of supporters, including Bell Atlantic, Keyspan Energy, Wall Bombs Pepsi, and the Mets. Together, we're going to give free Mets tickets to over 100,000 kids that play baseball. We'll rebuild fields in the community, and we'll provide youth baseball teams with free Pepsi each game of their season. So take it to the field, because there's never been a better time to play youth baseball.
Let's check out the AT&T starting lineups for the New York Mets, presented by manager Bobby Valentine. Roger Cedeno leading off in right field. Alfonso, Olerud, Ventura, Matt Franco, McRae, Pratt, Lopez, and Hershiser. The Mets batting order against Chris Brock, who throws a strike to Cedeno. Roger Cedeno making his 9th start of the year. Bobby Bonilla feeling a lot better, just about ready to get back into action. And Cedeno lays off. It's 1-1. Cedeno's a switch hitter, but he's had almost all of his plate appearances come from the left side. Just 1 for 2 as a right-hand batter. He's batting left-handed here. He fouls it off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Like most clubs will do, the third baseman way in. Cedeno will bunt if he gets a chance. He has excellent speed. Now with 2 strikes, Charlie Hayes moves back. They play him in the outfield to hit the ball to left center. They'll shade him around. He thinks he'll hit the ball the other way. There you can see the center fielder, Marvin Bernard, shaded over to left.
On the inside corner, and Cedeno is down on strikes, 1 away. So 1 out, nobody on. Let's take a look at the Tri-State Ford defense for the Giants. Snow, Cantor, Aurelia, and Hayes first to third on the infield, with Rios, Bernard, and Burks left to right in the outfield. Brent Maine, the former Met, catching Chris Brock, a former Atlanta Brave, who has no lifetime record against New York. 1 ball, no strikes now to a red-hot Edgardo Alfonso, who had 4 hits last night. Alfonso was slumping before this homestand, but he's gone 7 out of 16 since the Mets came home from Cincinnati and Chicago. 2-0 now to Alfonso. Feel funny calling him Fonzie today when somebody else was riding around on a leather jacket motorcycle here. 2-1 now to the Mets second baseman.
When you think of motorcycles, you think of Ron Gant, who injured himself riding a dirt bike and cost him maybe a possible Hall of Fame career.
He's never been quite nearly the same, has he? Did hit an inside the park home run this week on a ball that rolled about 100 feet. Two and 2 to Alfonso.
Alfonso 4 for 5 last night, and his 9th mobile hit game this year. 7th career 4-hit game. Like bananas, they come in bunches.
And the 2-2 delivery. Fastball fouled straight back. Chris Brock is making only his 10th big league start. He's been around. Brock is 29 years old now. Spent most of his career in the Atlanta Braves organization. Only pitched in 7 games for the Braves. 6 as a starter 2 years ago. Split last year between the Giants and their Fresno farm team.
He's an awful lot like Rick Reed of the Mets. He's one of those guys that keeps on coming at you and finally has made it to the major leagues.
Throws a breaking ball, runs the count full.
They say he's a real bulldog on the mound, the way Reed is for the New York Mets. And he's got a decent fastball. He has to locate it well, in and out.
There's a drive deep to left field. Forget it. That's a gunner for Edgardo Alfonzo.
And that ball was hit a long way.
Home run number 3 for Alfonzo. The Mets are leading by a score of 1-0. Well, you talked about his location. He didn't have another zip code in mind, though.
This ball was really taken deep and comes off a fastball. He had a good swing of the fastball in a previous swing. He is now 2 for 3 off Chris Brock in his major league career.
Oh, John Olerud takes ball 1, and now Brock delivers a second out of the strike zone.
Olerud leads the National League on on-base percentage of .495 with 21 walks.
Jeff Kent moving to his right, throws out Olerud, 2 men away. John Olerud will have to wait to continue his streak. Remember, he's been on board in each of the games the Mets have played this year. Thrown out there by Jeff Kent for the second out.
We'll take another look at that home run. Fastball right down the middle. A 3-2 pitch, and in that situation, the advantage goes to the hitter, especially if the pitcher gives in and throws a fastball. We talked about his control. It has to be good. Talking about the pitcher, Chris Brock, has to spot his fastball on the outside part, inside part of the plate. Change speeds. There, 3-2, throw it right down the middle. He will not walk very many. He will come right after you. Another thing that he does extremely well, Chris Brock does, is that he pitches very quickly. He doesn't fiddle around on the mound, gets back on the rubber. That's terrific for your infield. Your infield is much more, yep, and outfielders. But they're ready. Your defense is always ready to play. They're not sending them sagging and getting back on their heels. Work very quickly is one of the lessons that a lot of young pitchers could learn.
Spoken by a man who worked about as fast as you can work, Tom Seaver.
We actually saw the 22nd rule invoked earlier this week in the San Diego series.
That has been in the rule book for years and years and years, and you never see it called. You have to deliver the ball within 20 seconds when you get it back from the catcher with nobody on base.
Andy Ashby of the San Diego Padres was charged with the automatic ball, which in fact became ball 4.
At one time, Bill Veeck put a clock up in the outfield at Chicago, and he had that clock on a 20-second count. They took it down. They made him take it down.
1-2 to Ventura, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Brock strikes out a pair of Mets in the first inning, but he'll lament the payoff pitch that Alfonzo lost. 1-0, New York.
What if there was a bridge that could take you anywhere you wanted to go? From Manhattan to Paris. From Newark to London. Or from Brooklyn to Rio. There is such a bridge. It's called American Airlines. And every day it connects people from the New York area to to over 250 cities around the world. Stretching from coast to coast, country to country, building bridges that bring the world together for business and for pleasure. So no matter where you have to go, you'll always know how to get there. Just take the bridge. American Airlines, New York's bridge to the world.
Wow, there's folks from all over the galaxy here.
Of course, kid. They've come to get Sizzler's famous sizzling platters for just $7.99 each.
How do you eat them?
Use the fork, dude.
During Adventure 99, Dodge will give you a great lease deal on a Dodge Ram. Or, if you buy a Dodge Dakota, get your choice of a $1,000 cash allowance or a great vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. It's the adventure of a lifetime, and we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
J.T. Snow just took a fastball on the outside corner from Orel Hershiser to start the second. And Orel quickly in front now, 0-2. Snow has handled Hershiser pretty well in the past, 5 out of 15 against him. Snow experimenting this year by hitting left-handed full time. Tried switch hitting for a while, just has not handled left-hand pitching no matter which side of the plate he's hit from, so he's back to being full-time lefty.
His career as a batter against left-hand pitching, .213 with 14 home runs, so that's a good reason to give it up.
1-2 from Hershiser to Lopez at short. And there's one away. This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and WPIX is prohibited. Good sign early for Orel Hershiser after walking Marvin Bernard. He's thrown 4 straight ground ball outs now.
He has a good sinker and a ground ball pitcher, and he got some great help on a great play by Lopez at shortstop to end the inning and save a run.
Charlie Hayes below the Mendoza line. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a ground ball that winds up in center field, though. The Giants with their first hit of the afternoon off of Hershiser.
Well, another ground ball off of Orel Hershiser. First inning, you're right. Louis Lopez saved a run for Hershiser, and the Mets made a terrific play after Ventura had made a good play in holding the runner at third base. Good pitching by Hershiser last, and he will get a lot of ground balls. That a ground ball right up the middle by Charlie Hayes.
And now a left-hand batter, former Met Brent Maine, splits the catching with Scott Service. Service had a home run in last night's game off of Alan Watson. 1-0 now to Maine. Maine 4 for 11 in his career against Hershiser.
And Brent Maine holds the distinction of being the batter. When the bases were loaded, they walked Barry Bonds to force in a run on purpose to get to Maine. And he lined out to center field on a 3-2 pitch. Actually, it was right center field.
He hit a rope, too.
I know only of 2 batters that were walked with the bases loaded in situations like that. One was Bill Nicholson, who played for the Cubs. The other was Mel Ott.
Well, now Hershiser has walked Maine, and the Giants have runners at first and second with 1 out. Should correct myself, by the way. Service's home run last night came not off of Watson, but off of Dennis Cook. But now the Giants with Hayes at second, Maine at first, and Rich Aurelia, the shortstop. Missed 4 games with a tight right groin. He did get in as a pinch hitter last night. And he's back starting at shortstop this afternoon. Sinker below the knees, 1-0.
5 straight balls by Orel Hershiser. And one of the things he was talking about earlier today was his mechanics on the mound and his delivery to home plate. You look at Bob Apodaca. The 4 pitches that he walked Brett Maine on were all the same, all down and away.
And that ball hit hard into left field. Franco up with it. Around third, Hayes. He's coming home. The throw to the plate. Safe. And the Giants have tied the game. On to third goes Maine. Holding at first with an RBI single is Rich Aurelia. The throw appeared to have been there in time.
Very aggressive base coaching by Sonny Jackson, the third base coach for the Giants. A throw by Matt Franco right on line, and I don't think that Todd Pratt got a handle on that ball. The ball got to him. I just don't think he got a hold of it.
Kind of cradled the ball into the glove.
He tried to stop the runner. You could see him move his body. Watch his left shoulder as he tries to block the runner. I don't think he had a handle on the ball when Charlie Hayes was going by him. It certainly was there in time, but you've got to get that ball to the runner before he's out to make the out. It's not like a linebacker play where you can knock him and say, yeah, that's enough.
So now the Giants, with 2 hits and a walk sandwiched in between, have tied the ball game. They've got the pitcher Chris Brock up. See if he tries to sacrifice, but no, he takes a full swing. The play will be to first. Coming in to score is Maine, and the Giants take a 2-1 lead. So they let the pitcher swing the bat rather than just try and push Aurelia to second, and it pays off for the Giants.
That's a situation. The ball hits slowly to second base. The runner on third is going to score. Good job by the runner on first to stay out of the double play. What Alfonso's got to do here is to run that base runner back toward first base and not let him get to second base. He made the commitment to throw to first too early on that. There's no way you're going to stop the run on that play. There's no way you're going to get the double play. The routine double play for throwing it back to 6-4-3. That run's going to score anyway.
1 ball, 1 strike now to Marvin Bernard, the Giants' leadoff hitter. He drew a walk in the first inning. So Aurelia now in scoring position with 2 out, and the Giants with 2 runs in here in the second inning. They play Bernard to pull in the outfield, and a chopper. Bernard's got good speed, but Hershiser throws him out by a couple of steps. So the Giants break on top. 2 runs, 2 hits. They leave 1 and lead 2-1.
Ford, built for the way you live.
Maggie's a born archaeologist, so when she was invited to see a recent discovery...
Really? You bet I can get there.
She couldn't wait to check it out in her new Ford Explorer. With its powerful V6 and control-track 4-wheel drive, Maggie was able to get in and out of some of the toughest terrain ever explored.
I just love these out-of-the-way places.
Here's a real find. Now you can buy the #1 selling sport utility in America, Ford Explorer, and get 1.9 financing. Ford Explorer, built Ford tough, built for the way you live.
Both these men have athlete's foot. But only one used Desinex, the soothing cure. Desinex has a dual-action formula that calms the itching and cools the burning. And Desinex is clinically proven to kill the fungus dead, so your feet feel good while they heal. Got athlete's foot? Get dual-action Desinex. Soothes while it cures.
This Tuesday at General Nutrition Center's Gold Card members save 20% on everything in our stores, including everyday low-priced products. See you Tuesday at GNC.
Yahoo?
Giants touching Oral Hershiser for a pair of runs in the top of the second inning. Mets will send up Matt Franco, Brian McRae, and Todd Pratt here in the bottom half against Chris Brock. Brock struck out 2 Mets in the first, but gave up a home run to Edgardo Alfonso. And Franco takes a strike to get it started. Franco's 3rd start of the year. The first 2 have been at third base. It's not unusual to see Matt Franco in left field, at least over the course of his career. He played a lot of left field during his minor league days, primarily in the Chicago Cubs system. Ricky Henderson getting the day off this afternoon. Day game after a night game. 3 Met regulars not starting today. Henderson, Mike Piazza, and Ray Ordonez simply being rested by Bobby Valentine.
That's one thing that Bobby does well. He gets his bench players into the ball game quite often.
J.T. Snow with an easy play, and Franco is retired, 1 away.
You think of these two pitchers in this ball game today, Hershiser for the Mets and Brock for the Giants. It's the beginning and the end of the story. 2 different individuals, but look at the numbers in comparison. Brock lifetime 2-1, Hershiser closing in on 200 wins. And look at the number of innings pitched. The astronomical difference. The beginning and the end of the story.
Ryan McRae takes a ball. Hershiser did give the Giants a little over 200 innings last year. He made 34 starts, most he'd made since the late 1980s.
He won 11 games for the Giants. He gives you that veteran in the clubhouse. He's almost like a player coach, if you will, a guy that's pitched that many innings for that many years.
3-0 now to Brian McRae. We've talked a lot already this year about Hershiser's intensity and his competitiveness. Ball 4 to McRae. I'm just curious, how much of that stuff rubs off on even established major league players? Is it oral unto himself, or does that stuff become contagious?
That definitely is contagious. You hang around players that have been around that long. Dusty Baker and I were talking about it today, about the difference that having veterans on your ball club, a veteran like Dusty has of a Barry Bonds on his ball club, a guy that is going to the Hall of Fame, how he goes about his business, how he goes about his work. Oral Hershiser, how about he goes about his business, does his work, his concentration, focus, etc. It definitely runs off on everybody.
The example is the most important leadership quality a player can have.
Todd Pratt looks at a breaking ball out of the strike zone. Pratt wrote a pretty impressive story during Mike Piazza's 15 days on the disabled list. Those numbers tell most of the story. Also doing a good job drawing special praise from Bobby Valentine for the way he was in sync with the pitchers. Significant considering over the course of a full season, he won't catch all that much. Figure Piazza, even with the 2 weeks he missed, is still going to catch about 130, 135 games. But it's 1-0 to Todd, with McRae leading from first and 1 out here in the second. Popped up, drifting over towards the stands. And it'll carry a few rows back.
Well, one of the things, the points that Ralph makes, which is exactly right, Bobby Valentine does get his bench players into the ball game. Before the season starts, he'll sit down with that season schedule and say, all right, I'm going to play Ricky Henderson 135 to 140 times this year. I'm going to catch Mike Piazza maybe 125 games this year. Let him DH in the others, so he'll have 140 ball games, but he'll only have to catch maybe 125 or 30. Those will all be planned out. That may change depending on how a hitter is swinging the bat. It may depend on the pitcher-batter relationship and how one hitter does against a certain pitcher. But he'll generally, through the course of the season, have that planned out about the players and when they're going to have the day off. A perfect example last night, a night game, day game. Ricky Henderson's going to get the day off, day game after night game.
1 and 2 to Pratt. Plus, there's an added luxury now with interleague play, especially pertaining to Mike Piazza. Bobby Valentine will have the luxury of DHing Piazza, letting Todd Pratt catch. Keeping Piazza and Pratt's bat both in the lineup. 1 and 2 now to Todd. 2-1 Giants in the second. McRae leading from first. And a bouncer foul past Cookie Rojas, the third base coach.
I think that's one of the most important things a manager has to do, is keep his bench players going. Also, his other pitchers in the bullpen. They have to be in enough games to be sharp.
They have there being enough games to be sharp. Exactly right, especially in the early season when you can have rainouts and days off. And the other end of that spectrum is that you can't wear them out so that your pitchers, your bullpen pitchers, are dead by the time that end of July and August roll around. One of the things about this San Francisco club, they really go and use their bullpen. They've got a relatively young starting staff, only one starter over 30 years old. The rest of them are all youngsters, so to speak. And Dusty Baker will go to his bullpen a lot.
Got an outstanding closer in Rob Nen. They pitch out, nothing doing. McRae staying at first base. Nen has 9 saves this year. Of course, in Dusty Baker's perfect world, he would have gotten a win last night without needing his bullpen. Well, as it turns out, he didn't get a win, but he didn't have to use Rob Nen, who had saved all 3 games in Montreal. He's thrown about 55 pitches over 3 days in a row, so Dusty probably would not have had the use of Rob Nen last night. He will be available today. Outside, 3-2 to Pratt. We'll see if Bobby Valentine has McRae in motion here. 1 man out in the second inning. The Giants leading 2-1 with Luis Lopez on deck.
This is a good point to have the runner going right here because you're at the bottom end of the batting order. I would have to believe you'll be moving on the pitch.
He is running, swung on and missed strike 3, and now they've got McRae held up. Snow chases him down and applies the tag, and the side retired. So the strikeout double play ends the inning. No runs, no hits. We head to the third. 2-1 Giants.
Oh, car trouble. What's the score?
No score. You don't drive a Toyota, do you?
How'd you know?
Because you can count on a Toyota. Watch. You're looking at Toyota quality and reliability. It's made Camry the #1 selling car in America. Ooh, and with 1,000 in option discounts, your Toyota dealer makes Camry so easy to get into.
Great.
Uh-oh, penalty kick.
Who's the new goalie?
That's my niece. Pretty good, huh?
With AT&T Digital One rate, I can now use this phone for my home life, my business life, my social life.
The world of wireless has changed. AT&T Digital One rate. No roaming or long-distance charges across all 50 states.
It's even for my I'll call you when I land life.
So now AT&T could make your wireless phone your only phone.
Folks from all over are coming to Sizzler for 6 famous sizzling platters, now just $7.99 each. $7.99 sizzling platters, only at Sizzler.
Are you ready for the return of the 69 Mets?
Be here on Sunday, May 2nd, as we celebrate the return of the 69 Mets, including Seaver, Grody, Koosman, and Harrelson. Plus, adults will take home a video copy of the 69 Mets highlight film, courtesy of Chase. The fun on the field starts at 11 a.m.
Show up at Shea to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the 1969 New York Mets, sponsored by Chase.
Mets fans, Tuesday, May 4th will be the grand opening of the new flagship Mets Clubhouse shop. It's at 143 East 54th Street off of Lexington Avenue. The festivities will include autograph sessions with Tommy Agee, Rusty Staub, Mookie Wilson, and Turk Wendell, and Mr. Met will be on hand, too, to give away tickets and prizes. So for more information, call 212-888-7508. Armando Rios fouls one off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let me give you that number one more time. Mets Clubhouse shop opening up on Tuesday, May 4th. 212-888-7508. Come say hi to Rusty, Tommy, Mookie, Turk Wendell, too. 2-1 now to Rios.
We were talking about Rios, how he hit home runs in the second and third at bats in the major league. Very unusual.
And he hits that ball into center field. And the Giants have their third hit of the afternoon off of Hershiser. A leadoff single. Second time in 3 innings the Giants have had the leadoff man on.
Both of the hits were pinch hit home runs, and the only player to ever hit 2 home runs in his first 2 at-bats in the major leagues was Bob Neiman, who played for the St. Louis Browns. Quite a few have hit home runs in their first at-bat. Neiman has done his first two.
Ellis Burks fouls one off. I believe, I may be wrong about this, I believe the last Met to have homered in his first official at-bat was Mike Fitzgerald, former catcher. Benny Aiella did it.
He was the first to do it for the Mets.
Now Ellis Burks behind in the count 0-1. He has hit the Mets very well over his career.
Ellis Burks showed bunt on that first pitch. And he is my number 3 hitter. If I were managing the Giants, I said, no, I do not want my number 3 hitter to bump the ball.
I think he was decoying.
I think it was total decoy, yeah. He wants to maybe move that third baseman in just a little bit, Robin Ventura, make him cheat a couple of steps in at third base.
Rios running. The pitch swung on and missed. Pratt's throw out at second base. C.B. Buckner just wanted to wait and make sure that Alfonso had the ball.
Well, the Giants will run, and they try and push a game along.
Dusty Baker plays very aggressively. This a hit and run, and a good throw by Todd Pratt. Good play by Alfonso to come back and get that ball.
And Hershiser ahead of Ellis Burks now. Ball and 2 strikes. Up and in with a fastball.
Ellis Burks has really taken it out on the Mets in his lifetime, and especially last year. He hit over 500 against the Mets last year. So that might be a reason for the calling card.
Well, he's a player the Mets coveted during the early days of his career when he was with the Red Sox. And that pitch is over at the knees. Orel Hershiser gets his first strikeout, 2 men away.
Well, those pitches inside are used to set up the pitches away. It worked this time. All you got to do is get that hitter to give just an inch. You see Pratt sets up outside. Gives a good job in bringing that ball back in. Really sets up on that outside corner. And Ellis may have been looking middle half in.
Also, he might have thought that ball was outside. I don't know why. It was only about 4 inches outside.
It depends on which strike zone we're using today. The old one or the new one?
I don't know. The umpires are doing a lot of new things this year.
1-1 now to Jeff Kent.
One of them being that they will not umpire the Cuba-Baltimore Orioles game in Baltimore.
Well, a lot of that apparently is in protest of the directive that all Major League general managers have been working under to chart the pitches based on location. Provide report cards, I guess, on the umpires based on the way the new strike zone is being enforced.
Well, the umpires have their own people that see the games and chart the pitches and actually report on the umpires and how well they do back to the umpires association.
2-2 to Kent. Richie Phillips, the head of the Umpires Association, says that for years the umpires have enforced the strike zone the way it's been printed in the rule book, and they simply haven't, because the rule book says the strike zone goes approximately from the letters to the knees, and rarely, if ever, will you see a strike called on a pitch above the belt, or haven't anyway until this year.
Well, I pitched, what, 20 years ago in the National League, and it was barely above the belt then. Never had a high strike in the National League.
Little looper, Alfonso trying to catch up to it, and it's just beyond his grasp. And Jeff Kent has a 2-out bloop single.
Well, Jeff was robbed of a base hit his first time up, and a good play by Lopez, and now he gets a little booper that drops in front of the right fielder and over and beyond Alfonso.
I don't think Cedeno would have ever gotten to this ball. I think he was fooled. The ball hit off the end of the bat, and he stepped back. His first step was back, and he misjudged it, but I still don't think that he would have gotten the ball.
J.T. Snow takes a ball. So the Giants now with 4 hits. That's helping themselves here in the 3rd inning by throwing out Armando Rios, trying to steal second base. Ellis Burks batting. And Jeff Kent back to first with J.T. Snow ahead in the count 1-0. Dusty Baker's Giants, a very aggressive ball club. They'll push the envelope in terms of base running. Nothing to worry about here is Alfonso with a clean pick of the line drive, and the side retired. Middle of the third, 2-1 Giants.
One dead body.
Which of you owns this?
7 unlikely suspects.
Starting with you.
And a goddess without a clue.
Hand him over.
Who done it? Who knows? An all-new Cena. Tonight at 8 on the WB11.
Is it me, guys? Or do we really look ridiculous?
Man, for free Bud Light, I'm doing 70s night.
Oh, brother. Shut the door! You're letting in a draft.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
Kids go through a lot of phases. My Joey's in the push-button phase. Phone, remote, calculator, you name it, he pushes it.
But with her Ford Windstar, Maria's in control. Now she pushes the buttons. And thanks to dual remote sliding doors, the kids hop right in. Plus, Windstar has a quadruple 5-star crash test rating. And now you can lease a new Windstar for just $289 a month.
Of course, this is still my favorite button.
Ford Windstar, built to last. Built for the way you live.
Okay, so everyday errands aren't always so rewarding. That's why Chase introduces the Chase Continental Airlines banking card, the first debit card that rewards you with one-pass miles. Use it instead of cash or checks, and get miles for every little thing you buy. Because when shopping seems less than rewarding, at least you've earned some miles. Another great reason to open a Chase checking account. Chase, the right relationship is everything. Last of the third, let's take a quick check of the Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. Pittsburgh Pirates off to an early lead. Padres and Cubs just getting underway. 0-1 now to Luis Lopez. Milwaukee Brewers with a run in. Bottom half, everything else in the National League goes tonight. And in the American League, the Twins up early over Baltimore. That's the only day game underway right now. Oakland will play later this afternoon against Boston. And a pop-up nestled into the glove of Jeff Kent for the first out.
Talking about scores, how about Matt Williams, a former San Francisco Giant player? He leads the National League in home runs, runs batted in, multiple hit games, hits, total bases, and extra base hits. He's having some sort of year for the Diamondbacks.
Orel Hershiser hits it hard, and it sails just enough so that Rios can grab it. Hershiser making excellent contact, but he's retired for the second out here in the third inning.
They were saying that move of trading Matt Williams was a big move for the Giants, and a good move for the Giants, but Williams is one of the great hitters. Off to a tremendous start.
How about the week that Larry Walker's had?
Walker, too, yeah.
Woo. He had 3 home runs in a game. Maglio Ordonez of the White Sox had 3 home runs in a doubleheader the same day that Larry Walker hit his 3. 1-0 to Roger Cedeno. Well, the long ball's been prevalent during the early going this year. Mets have had the home run ball this afternoon from Edgardo Alfonso, but they still trail 2-1 here in the last of the third. Cedeno was caught looking his first time up. 2-0 now to Roger. Charlie Hayes, the Giants' third baseman, has been pretty tight on the grass, suspicious of a possible Cedeno 2-out bunt.
Way in at third base. Kind of situation, Howie, too. He said, well, with 2 outs, you don't have to play in that closely at third base. With a guy like Cedeno who can run the way he can, if you let him bunt, he's simply going to try and steal second base anyway. Some managers say protect against the double down the left field line and forget the bunt. Even if he does get a base hit, you got a shot at throwing him out second base.
And not all speedy players are necessarily good bunters, but that's one of the most important ingredients in Cedeno's repertoire. He's an outstanding bunter. So you always have to be wary of that.
That's right. He is an excellent bunter.
So we'll see if he's in motion somewhere along the line here. Remember, Alfonso hit it out of the yard in the first inning. 2-1 Giants with 2 outs in the third. On the outside corner, good pitch from Chris Brock. So Cookie Rojas flashing the sign. Perhaps that tap of the helmet from Alfonso indicated his answer. A start, a stop, and a bloop. And the Mets are going to have runners at the corners. Cedeno will go all the way to third. Cedeno started as though he were going to try to steal second, then stopped. But on the perfectly executed hit and run, or at least aborted hit and run, Alfonso dumps it into right field. He's 2 for 2, and the Mets have runners at the corners.
He made a good bluff of moving on the pitch, and then the base hit into right center, and Cedeno goes to third. So now the Mets have a chance to come back in and take the lead, or at least tie it up.
And Edgardo, 4 for 5 last night, 2 for 2 here today. Swinging a very hot bat. 4 singles in last night's game, home run and a single here today.
Olerud grounded to second in the first inning. Remember, he's been on base in every game the Mets have played so far. Off to a terrific start. Takes the pitch in the dirt, 1-0. Well, he's picked his average up to 350 on this homestand. Leading the league in on-base percentage coming in. Just a shade under 500. Inside again, 2-0. It's the only way you can play him, huh? Straight away, because he'll hit the ball all over the place?
He will hit the ball to left center, hit the ball down the left field line, pull the ball. If you keep pitching him inside, hard stuff inside, he will turn on it and hit the ball out of the ballpark.
He goes the other way and ties the ball game. Down the line to score, Cedeno. Stopping at second is Alfonso. RBI single for John Olerud. That keeps his streak alive of getting on base in every game he's played, and the Mets have tied it 2-2.
A classic hitter will hit the ball at all fields. We talked about it. You go to left field, down the left field line, you pull the ball. Great short stroke, and you got a tie ball game. The base on balls will always come around to haunt you as a pitcher. And with 2 outs, Chris Brock walked Cedeno, and there Cedeno has scored.
Dusty Baker suffered through a nightmarish first inning from his pitcher, Sean Estes, last night based on wildness. A walk has helped the Mets get even here, and Al Ventura takes a breaking ball for a strike. Ventura tied for 4th in the league now in RBIs, hitting a home run last night. Robin now with 20 runs batted in the Mets' first 23 games. Up the middle and on through. Around third and coming home is Alfonso. On to third goes Olerud. RBI single for Robin Ventura. The Mets are leading by a score of 3-2. All the damage done after there were 2 outs and nobody on.
This ball was not hit hard, but it gets through the infield. And the Mets regain the lead. Good job of hitting by Ventura. His 4th run batted in this series against the Giants.
So again, Mets have runners at the corners. Now it's Matt Franco who bounced to first his first time up. 1-0 now to Matt. 3 straight hits after a 2-out walk to Cedeno.
And a walk set it up for the Giants to score 2 in their big inning.
Pulled to the second baseman, Kent, who throws out Franco, and the side retired. But the Mets send 7 to the plate. 2 of them score, and the Mets have regained the lead.
The Mets are taking on the Giants, and guess who's joining the action? Keith Hernandez. Catch him live from our broadcast booth tomorrow at 1:30 on the WB11. Channel 11.
This week, look for something more from McDonald's. Save more with deals like a free breakfast bagel sandwich when you buy hash browns and a cup of premium blend coffee. Just look for the insert in your Sunday paper.
Oh, car trouble. What's the score?
No score. You don't drive a Toyota, do you?
How'd you know?
Because you can count on a Toyota. Watch. You're looking at Toyota quality and reliability. It's made Camry the #1 selling car in America. Ooh, and with 1,000 in option discounts, your Toyota dealer makes Camry so easy to get into.
Great.
Uh-oh, penalty kick.
Who's the new goalie?
That's my niece. Pretty good, huh?
Scratchers from the New York Lottery. Lots of games like the new Wheel of Fortune with 10 chances to win up to 50 grand.
Hold, please. Hold.
You look like you could use... You?
What's your thanks, Mr. Scratcher?
Hold please, Scratchers.
She's tied up right now.
Saving New York from the ordinary day.
This week, look for something more from McDonald's. Save more with deals like a free breakfast bagel sandwich when you buy hash browns and a cup of premium blend coffee. Just look for the insert in your Sunday paper.
Well, Chris Brock allowed the Mets to get back on top in the third. Let's take a look now at our Dodge Trivia question for today. Our new Dodge Trivia question features the Grand Slam category. Lou Gehrig have the American League record?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Major League record. 23.
On the inside corner to Charlie Hayes.
And I know who the answer is, and I didn't give one up to him.
That's why I know the answer. You just exhaled at the end of your career. You were
dodged
spared.
I dodged that bullet. I gave some up to him, but they weren't Grand Slams, I don't think.
Well, if it's the guy I'm thinking of, I believe he wore a Giant uniform for a long time.
Yes, he did.
Big, tall, left-hand hitter.
One of the real great hitters.
The guy we're talking about just about hit one here at Shea Stadium, across the Roosevelt Avenue Bridge, right to the Q27 bus stop on Main and Roosevelt. One of the longest home runs in the history of this ballpark. Roger Cedeno holds on to that fly ball from Charlie Hayes, 1 man away.
He also broke in with a 4-for-4 in his first Major League game.
Against Robin Roberts.
That's right.
Well, all right. We've just about given you the name.
We hope we're right here, too.
Yeah, there so.
Brent Maine, the Giant catcher, coming up. Foul. You know, you mentioned Robin Roberts, Tom. I seem to remember when you came up having been compared, at least facially, to Robin Roberts. Were there any similarities in pitching
mechanics,
style?
sure.
How about mechanics and also fastball. Robin Roberts had the best fastball I ever hit against.
Really?
He had not the fastest, but his fastball had the rise on it, and he could really turn it up. When he wanted to throw the ball hard, he could add about 5 miles an hour, like Tom Seaver.
Well, Brent Maine with a 1-out single as the Giants are runner on first, and Rich Aurelia coming up.
Feller, a better fastball than Robin Roberts?
Yeah.
Because of movement or because of change of speed?
Speed, I think, is faster, and also he had movement, and he also had one great curve.
So Mr. Feller, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I think.
No, Robin didn't have a good curve.
Hershiser will look for one of those ground balls here. See if the Mets can turn 2 and get out of this inning. They lead 3-2. Aurelia with a single his first time up. Maine does not have bad speed at first base, considering, of course, that he's a catcher. Inside, 2-0 to Aurelia.
One of the things I think Oral Hershiser does from the stretch And it's one of the things that's happened in baseball. They've got this slide step to try to hold the runner. They're so concerned about the runners, and I don't think he gets his left leg up far enough, which gives his arm time enough to get into throwing position. He seems that all its fastballs, the sinkers, are missing down and in. Remember, earlier in the game, he walked somebody on 4 pitches. There's a strike. And they were all in the same spot. And that, if you look at that, it's indicative of a very quick left leg. Well, if the left leg is real quick, it doesn't give the right arm enough time to get into throwing position, and you'll end up throwing the ball down and away from left-handed hitters.
Now, does that mean you can't get on top of your breaking pitches, too?
You can't get on top of your breaking pitches, but more importantly, you can't get the arm to the strike zone. You leave everything out to the right side, your breaking ball is going to be flat. At the left knee, you want to look at the left knee if it's real quick, or look at the left leg. If the knee does not get high enough, you don't buy enough time to get your arm into throwing position. But everybody wants, they defend against the base runner so much. Speed has become such an issue.
Full count now to Aurelia. We'll see what Dusty Baker does here. The pitcher is due up next.
Take a look at the last pitch and watch the left D doesn't quite get up above his waist. That's real quick. And the slider was down and away. I mean, against a pitcher that is not a strikeout pitcher, and at this stage of Oral's career, he's not a strikeout pitcher. And with the way Dusty Baker manages, you certainly would expect the runner to be going.
He is. Ball 4 behind Aurelia. Might have hit him. Might have nicked him on the elbow. I believe it did. The elbow or the back.
Well, we talked about Oral really struggling in Chicago, and all of a sudden his control would seem to lose him, and that was right into the back. 3-2 pitch, not even close. And that's that real quick left leg. To me, that's the cause of that ball being so wild to the right side of the plate. And I think the back of a pitcher's mind, he thinks about that base runner and gets maybe a little bit greedy. He says, I'd love to get a strikeout and a throwout at second base. That pitch not even close to the strike zone.
So now the pitcher, Chris Brock, in a sacrifice situation. Olerud was charging from first. The pitch taken for a ball, 1-0.
Tom, that also would account to some degree for his arm problems. You're throwing with no body.
You're throwing only with the upper right section of your body. Those two pitchers are outside. The thing is, another thing that adds on, now those two pitches are down and away. Now with a runner at second base, he's not so concerned about the stolen base from first base, so he might be taking a little bit more time with the left leg. And he had been rushing with his arm, and now he's pulling the ball, buying so much time that he's pulling the ball out of the strike zone.
Ball 3, and now Hershiser a pitch away from loading the bases. 3-0 to the opposing pitcher.
See, I've never been an advocate of changing your mechanics. You see how his knee is just about 5 or 6 inches higher there than it was when he was pitching with a man on first base.
High, ball 4, now the bases are loaded. So a single, a hit batsman, and a 4-pitch walk will bring Bob Apodaca to the mound. Third walk issued by Hershiser. Nothing doing yet in the Mets bullpen.
Now Bob wants to go out and try and settle Oral down. Maybe he has seen something in Oral's mechanics. I've only seen Oral pitch a couple of times. Another game was in Chicago when he struggled a bit.
Well, that is uncharacteristic for Hershiser over the course of his career, to have that many walks. And he throws ball 1 to Marvin Bernard. Reyes Manzanillo now just getting up and starting to loosen up. It's clinging to a 3-2 lead with the bases loaded. Off the foot of Bernard, a foul ball, 1-1. Giants have Maine at third, Aurelia at second, and Brock at first with one man away. Let's have the infield set back at double play depth, but remember, Marvin Bernard has outstanding speed. He can be tough to double up. It'll have to be a hard hit ground ball to the infield. On the outside corner, and now Hershiser in front, 1-2. Armando Rios, the rookie, waiting on deck. So Hershiser laboring here in the fourth, trying to work his way out of trouble. And the 1-2 delivery grabbed by Pratt. That evens the count. Brent Maine, a one-out base hit, and Aurelia was hit by the pitch. And Chris Brock, over at first base, threw a 4-pitch walk, and he's the opposing pitcher. Now it's 2-2 on Marvin Bernard. And Bernard calls time.
This is a very important pitch in the sequence here where the base is loaded. And 2-2. One of the things Earl does not want to do is get to 3-2.
2-2 delivery. Got him! Big strikeout for Hershiser, his second of the afternoon. 2 men away.
This looked like the slider down and in. Yep, breaking ball. Started on the inside corner. That's a beauty. That might be the best pitch that Earl's thrown all day.
Well, he's not out of the woods yet. He's got to go after the rookie Rios, who grounded to second and singled to center. Rios making only his 5th start for the Giants. And he's had hits and RBIs in all 4 of his previous starts. He has a hit already this afternoon. He's got the bases loaded here with 2 out. First ball hitting down to Overwood. Hershiser works out of a fix. And the Mets remain on top by a run.
During Adventure 99, you can lease a Dodge Durango for only $365 a month. Or if you buy a Dodge Caravan, get your choice of a $1,000 cash allowance. Or a vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. It's the adventure of a lifetime. And we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
We've been worried sick.
And don't give me that stuck in traffic story. You are gonna be punished.
Frankie is 18. But, Dad, I had to drop Jenny off in Cleveland, and Steve lives in Miami.
No Discover brokerage for 1 week.
Dad!
That's it, 1 week. No online investing. Now get that helicopter of yours off the lawn.
You can't control me forever! Wow, there's folks from all over the galaxy here.
Of course, kid. They've come to get Sizzler's famous sizzling platters for just $7.99 each.
How do you eat them?
Use the fork, dude.
Ah.
New year, new team, new magic. Are you ready?
Show up at Shea on Sunday, May 23rd, when the Mets battle their division rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies. All kids will get a Mets t-shirt courtesy of Cons. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX.
Show up at Shea for Kids Jersey Day. Sponsored by Cons.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by the new Dodge. It's about time. And by Chase Continental Airlines banking card, the first debit card that rewards you with 1 pass miles. Well, Oral Hershiser got out of some hot water in the top half of the 4th inning. Giants had the bases loaded, 1 out, but he struck out Bernard. He got Rios on a ground ball, and the Mets still lead 3-2. Brian McRae drew a walk his first time up. And takes the breaking ball, 0-1.
You know, Hershiser pitched very well in the 1st inning. And then again, last inning to get out of jam, save a run. And it's interesting to compare a veteran pitcher like Hershiser and compare it to the pitcher that started last night for the San Francisco Giants and Sean Estes, who just totally could not get on track last night and couldn't retain the composure to keep himself without getting trouble. He made wild pitches, made a balk in the first inning, base on balls. He pitched terribly in the first inning and just couldn't do enough to get out of an inning without having a disastrous inning for his ball club. Hershiser, the veteran, has been able, he's struggling, yes, but enough to make a good pitch when he has to. That's the difference between a pitcher and a thrower.
A 1-2 to McRae, breaks high. 2 balls, 2 strikes now to the Mets center fielder.
You know, one of the things about your pitchers is you go out and have great stuff. Say you're Nolan Ryan and you go out and you strike out 14 guys and pitch a 2-hit shutout. Well, you're going to have those kinds of days. The thing that's very valuable to your teammates and to your manager and to yourself in your profession is the days that you struggle and keep your team in the ballgame. Give them a chance to win. Retain composure and keep the ball club within striking distance. Get an out, save a run when you can. Here it is, Hershiser has pitched 4 innings and saved a couple of runs already for his ball club.
Ryan McRae down on strikes. And for Chris Brock, his 4th strikeout of the afternoon. 1 away here in the 4th inning. One thing Brock's been able to do so far is keep the leadoff man on in all 4 of the innings he's worked. Now we'll go after Todd Pratt. With McRae a runner at first base in the 2nd inning. Pratt struck out, and with McRae trying to steal, Ryan was thrown out. And that resulted in a strikeout double play. 0-1 now to Todd. And that's bounced into the dirt, foul. 0-2. One more tomorrow between these teams. Masato Yoshii to face Kirk Reeder. We'll have that one for you as well here on the WB11. And it should be a tremendously entertaining day all around as 1969 world champion Mets will be honored before the ball game, commemorating the 30th anniversary of maybe the greatest New York sports story ever told. And some of the opponents who were made so miserable by that 69 team are going to be here and get a little bit more comeuppance tomorrow.
And are still miserable.
Well, you better believe that.
And a lot of fans in Chicago still miserable.
Low to Pratt, 1-2. I'll tell you one guy who's still miserable when I talk to him about it is Jim Palmer. And Paul Blair is going to be here tomorrow, which should make for a pretty interesting discussion because Blair was the center fielder when Gary Gentry hit a 2-run double in Game 3. High and tight to Pratt, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Palmer to this day does not forgive Blair for having played the pitcher Gentry to pull him. So Gentry hit it the other way. Pratt almost got hit himself here.
Paul Blair is a name that Tom Seaver certainly remembers well.
Hit hard by Pratt towards the gap in left center. Rios cuts it off, then falls down, so Pratt's going to try for through. The throw coming in, out at second base. Pratt doesn't think so, but a great recovery by Armando Rios. And now Bobby Valentine out to do 2 things, settle down Pratt if he needs to, but now to pick up the argument, too.
This ball is hit hard, a fastball, after he had been set up. And Rios gets to the ball, slides on the grass. Pratt had held the first base and now decides to make a try. And he beat the tag.
Boy, sure looked like it from that angle.
That was good aggressive base running by Pratt. An excellent play in the outfield by Armando Rios. What a recovery after he slipped. All right, Pratt does not run well, but he ran with second base in mind all the way. He did a good job there. He was safe. or at least it appeared that he was safe on the replay.
Rio's picking up the assist, and now it's up to Luis Lopez with a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Fouled into the Met dugout, 1-2.
Getting back to Paul Blair, the first batter in the World Series in 1969, hit a fly ball to right field, and it went over the top of the fence.
Now you're getting personal. 2-2 to Lopez.
Well, that's right. It was Buford, wasn't it? That ball really should have been caught by Ron.
Now you're trying to make me feel
No,
good.
I've always said that.
2-2 to Lopez. Would have been ball 3, but he fouls it off. Batting practice will begin for the 69 Stars at 11 o'clock tomorrow, so you want to get here early. BP will go from 11 until 11:50.
I thought you were going to say go from 11 to 11:05.
I sure don't want to miss that batting practice tomorrow, because that could be one ugly situation right there.
So bring it. Make sure to bring your cameras as well.
Whoa, and slow-speed film, too.
Players will be introduced from 11:50 to 12:05, and then from 12:05 to 1:05, a 3-inning game.
That sounds like maybe the 2 longest hours you're spent at the ballpark right there.
Well, you're going to be the starting pitcher, right?
I'm making
you're
one
taking
pitch and I'm out of there.
Oh, really? Full count to Lopez. I thought you were going at least 1.
No, absolutely. Well, just the thought of seeing a bunch of 55-year-old men take batting practice brings a tear to my eye. Oh, Lord.
Fouled away again by Lopez.
I'll tell you one thing, though. If you didn't have a name on a uniform or a number, and you saw the player and knew him from 1969, you could identify the swing. It will be the same. It won't be as fast, but it will be the same mannerisms that the player had that many years ago.
Lopez draws a walk. The appeal denied by Bob Davidson at third. So that'll work out well for the Mets. They'll get a chance to clear the pitcher here. So the way Oral Hershiser tagged one his last time up, you might take some exception to that, because he hit the ball very hard the other way, and it sailed a bit on left fielder Armando Rios, who managed to stay with it. 2 walks issued by Chris Brocknell. And a chopper up the middle. Kent gets to it, and the side retires. 4 in the books at Shea. It's 3-2, New York.
Oh, car trouble. What's the score?
No score. You don't drive a Toyota, do you?
How'd you know?
Because you can count on a Toyota. Watch. You're looking at Toyota quality and reliability. It's made Camry the #1 selling car in America. Ooh, and with 1,000 in option discounts, your Toyota dealer makes Camry so easy to get into.
Great.
Uh-oh, penalty kick.
Who's the new goalie?
That's my niece. Pretty good, huh?
What if there was a bridge that could take you anywhere you wanted to go? From Manhattan to Paris. From Newark to London. Or from Brooklyn to Rio. There is such a bridge. It's called American Airlines. And every day it connects people from the New York area to over 250 cities around the world. Stretching from coast to coast, country to country, building bridges that bring the world together for business and for pleasure. So no matter where you have to go, you'll always know how to get there. Just take the bridge. American Airlines, New York's bridge to the world.
It's the National Chrysler Plymouth Spring Sales Drive. Now get $1,000 cash allowance on the new Chrysler Sebring convertible. See your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
5th inning at Shea Stadium, 3-2 New York. And for the Giants here in the 5th inning, it'll be 3, 4, and 5 in their batting order. Ellis Burks, Jeff Kent, and J.T. Snow to face Oral Hershiser. Oral getting out of a bases-loaded jam in the 4th inning. The Giants have left men on in all 4 innings. They've left 6 on base altogether. Ellis Burks 0 for 2. He bounced to third. He was caught looking. And a chopper foul, 0-1. A lot more of a load now on Ellis Burks and Jeff Kent in particular, with Barry Bonds out of the lineup. The Giants have handled it well. They've won 8 of the 12 since Bonds was first injured. And a fly ball, well hit to left field, but playable for Matt Franco. And that's the first out here in the 5th inning. So with 1 gone, let's take a look at the Toyota line score. The Mets breaking on top. The Giants grabbed the lead in the 2nd, but the Mets took it right back in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Mets doing their damage in the 3rd after 2 are out and nobody on. A walk to Cedeno, and then 3 straight hits by Alfonso, Olerud, and Ventura produced the runs. Jeff Kent grounded to short, single to right. Let's play him straight away. And a breaking ball by Hershiser sits high. Jeff had a 9-game hitting streak stopped in last night's game. He went 0 for 3. Fastball in, 2-0.
This is the kind of game that you really miss Barry Bonds if you manage the San Francisco Giants the way Dusty Baker does. Bonds on the year was hitting almost .450 against right-handers and over .500 against right-handers with men in scoring position. And you consider that the Giants have left 6 runners on and scored a couple. You would imagine that Barry Bonds, had he been in the lineup, would have had a chance to drive in some runs.
Hop to the right side. We'll see if the wind plays some tricks here. Alfonso and Olerud over, and Olerud just can't reach it. Foul ball, though, so it's 2-2.
Well, the wind certainly had an effect on this ball, taking the ball away from John out of his reach. Just barely out of his reach. John with a wonderful pair of hands.
One of the effects as well of the absence of Barry Bonds is the way opposing managers have been able to work the rest of the lineup behind Kent. 2-2 to Jeff. Inside, almost hit him. J.T. Snow is on deck now. He's strictly a left-hand hitter. And we've told you before, he's had virtually no success in his career against left-hand pitchers. Recently, John Bowles, the manager of the Florida Marlins, had a right-hander, Brian Meadows, on the mound with Kent batting and the bases loaded. Late in the game, Marlins were leading big. It was an intentional walk. They clearly pitched around Kent with the bases loaded and walked him, just as Hershiser does here with the bases empty. That time, though, in Florida, the bases were loaded. They allowed the run to score, and then Bowles was able to bring in a left-hander, Vic Darensburg, and he got J.T. Snow. Now, of course, Snow will hit against a right-hand pitcher, Oral Hershiser, but that's one of the effects, the immediate effects, of not having Barry Bonds in this lineup. Snow in this game is grounded to short. He's lined to second. Hershiser has now walked 4. And his first pitch misses away to Snow.
Snow's mother died of cancer last year in June. And in the first game he played in, after the funeral, he hit a home run. And as he crossed home plate, he took both of his index fingers and pointed to the sky as he crossed home plate.
This one gets past Pratt, and on to second goes Kent. And the Giants once again have the tying run in scoring position with 1 out.
And again from the stretch, Oral Hershiser having some control problems. The first pitch down and away again. And that last pitch, a slider in off the plate. It looked like a pitch that Todd Pratt should have been able to handle unless he was setting up outside. That should be a pass ball. Got his glove on it.
And it is scored, a pass ball. 2-0 to Snow, and a bouncer to Olerud. That's the second out. Kent crosses to third. So 2 out now. Charlie Hayes will be the batter with Kent 90 feet away, representing the tying run.
Well, we talked earlier about saving a run, this time with 2 outs and a runner at third base. Orel has had a lot of runners over there on third and has done a good job so far to keep the Giants just to 2 runs. Well, this another big out with a man just 90 feet away.
Charlie Hayes, 1 out of 2 in the game. Kent leads from third. Pratt set up outside, and that's where Hershiser delivered it, 1-0. Hayes has been in a slump, just 1 hit in his last 13 at-bats. Hershiser trying to get out of the inning against him. 1-1 now to Charlie Hayes.
Well, he's batting 194 coming into this game. With runners in scoring position, he's hitting 348. So he's got a few hits at the right time.
And the 1-1 delivery. Again, away and in the dirt. Hershiser certainly would like to get Hayes here rather than deal with a left-hand batter, Brent Maine. Maine, the on-deck hitter. Two-1 to Charlie. Line foul. And the count now 2 balls, 2 strikes. If he can get out of this inning with the lead, Orel Hershiser would be eligible for the win should the Mets hold on. Once this afternoon, they've had warm-up action. That was when Josias Manzanillo got up in the 4th inning. Orel working out of a bases-loaded jam in the 4th. Now he's 2-2 to Hayes with 2 out. And Kent at third. 3-2 New York. We're in the 5th. And a pitch on the way. Foul to the right side. Charlie Hayes recently returned to the lineup after being suspended for 4 games for his role in an altercation with Todd Stottlemyre of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Again, it'll be a 2-2 pitch. Did he go around? Apparently, he held his swing. And Hayes has worked the count full. Started to move those hands, but pulled the bat back.
He looks like he's pulling off everything Charlie Hayes does to me, Ralph. His approach to the ball, his left side comes off. He likes the ball from middle in.
Yeah,
likes the fastball.
Fastball, yeah. That was a good slider, just missing.
So this will be a payoff pitch to Hayes. Got him! Orel Hershiser does it again. He's been in and out of trouble all day, but maintains the lead through 4.5.
Sorry. Not enough. No, still short.
For the great taste that will fill you up and never let you down.
Paper or plastic? Paper.
Make it a Bud Light.
Guys, need a receipt?
Oh, car trouble. What's the score?
No score. You don't drive a Toyota, do you?
How'd you know?
Because you can count on a Toyota. Watch. You're looking at Toyota quality and reliability. It's made Camry the #1 selling car in America. Ooh, and with 1,000 in option discounts, your Toyota dealer makes Camry so easy to get into.
Great.
Uh-oh, penalty kick.
Who's the new goalie?
That's my niece. Pretty good, huh?
Right now at Pep Boys, get 35,000 miles Cornell tires in 9 sizes for just $99. Or double your mileage with 70,000 mile Futura radials, 4 for $169.
Pep Boys, cars like us, people love us.
We know a lot of you want to look before you
elite, so we built Gateway Country stores where the computers are working, online, and yours to try. Come see how the Intel Pentium 3 processor gives you the power for a better internet experience. Get a Gateway Performance PC for as low as $50 a month.
Did you hear this? People are already lining up for the big Star Wars prequel, and there's still 18 days. But before you head to the box office, the WB11 is presenting the special edition of the original with digitally enhanced audio and video. It's coming up May 14th at 8 p.m. right here on the WB11, the original blockbuster, Star Wars. In the air to left field, Rios battling the sun and the wind, and he puts it away, so Cedeno is out on the fly ball, one man away.
Oral Hershiser, who pitched out of trouble again, the runner at third base, and 2 outs. Boy, he has had sporadic stuff today, but boy, a real battler. Bobby Valentine checking with him. You want to go out the 5th? You okay to go the 5th? There was nobody throwing in the Met bullpen, so it looks like Hershiser will go out at the top of the 6th inning.
0-1 to Alfonso. Hershiser, living up to that bulldog reputation that was bestowed upon him by Tommy Lasorda, has stranded 7 base runners so far. 1-1 to Alfonso. So, you know, Dusty Baker and the Giants really feeling the loss, not only of Barry Bonds. We talked last night about Bill Miller, too, a Dusty Baker favorite, and he's been out with a broken toe since opening day. But credit Hershiser with muscling up when he's had to. And now it's 2-1 on Alfonso, who muscled up in the 1st inning with a home run and then singled in the 3rd. So Alfonso now back over the 300 mark. He's hitting at .312. Fouled away, 2-2.
Well, Alfonso got the Mets on top with this blast to left field, a fastball, and it was really taken downtown. Alfonso's 3rd home run of the year.
And now the count full to him.
You know, Hershiser pitched 9 years without a losing season for the Dodgers. That was the longest from the start of her career since 1982, when Tom Seaver racked up 15 years. That's an amazing record. Never a losing season.
Well, I didn't know that.
How about you gave him that number?
Why are you finding all this good stuff, Ralph?
Well, I just call up your dad, and he tells me.
Good play by Charlie Hayes. That ball off the grass, a one hopper over to J.T. Snow, who is a superb defensive first baseman. That was not a mistake. Charlie Hayes meant to do that.
Yeah, J.T. Snow is coming up on the all-time record for fielding percentage of Steve Garvey's. Garvey once won 162 games a full season without an error. Snow has really got some good numbers.
Mets first baseman John Olerud with a 1-1 count. I'll tell you what, Olerud, at least as one who had not really seen much of him in the American League, watching the National League regularly, I didn't realize he had as soft hands and was as good defensively as he is.
He's got great hands.
Lays off, it's 2-2. Olerud, no slouch either. When you talk about this starting Mets infield, Lopez at short today rather than Ordonez, but you don't forget about John Olerud at first, too. Swing and a miss, and the side retired. 5 strikeouts for Chris Brock. We go to the 6th, 3-2 New York.
In some remote mountain areas, you'll come across sandstone, limestone, or perhaps a major milestone. Introducing the all-new, totally redesigned Jeep Grand Cherokee. With more power, more safety, and more on- and off-road capability than ever before, it's a new milestone in sport utilities.
If you're with a full-price broker like Merrill Lynch, you're paying really large commissions.
But if you were with Waterhouse Securities, you'd pay really small commissions and get access to your account anytime, day or night, in ways full-price brokers don't even offer. No wonder Smart Money magazine said, "We got the best mix of price, product, service, and reputation." Of course, you'd also get lots of extra services for free that most full-price brokers charge you for. Like free IRAs and a free asset management account, plus a library of free investment information. All of which explains why Smart Money rated us America's #1 discount broker 2 years in a row. So isn't it time you gave Waterhouse a try? Waterhouse Securities, where investors who expect value feel right at home.
Both these men have athlete's foot. But only one used Desinex, the soothing cure. Desinex has a dual-action formula that calms the itching and cools the burning. And Desinex is clinically proven to kill the fungus dead, so your feet feel good while they heal. Got athlete's foot? Get dual-action Desinex. Soothes while it cures.
Sixth inning, Brent Maine takes a strike as Oral Hershiser gets in front.
He gets in front and he comes out with nobody on, very first pitch, first hitter in the inning, and decides that he's going to pitch from the stretch. Maybe he feels more comfortable that way. There's a slider down and in. First pitch, a strike down and away. A lot of pitches out of the strike zone from the stretch, and maybe he's just trying to get his feet on the ground from the stretch. Discussions with Bob Apodaca. The head here.
Interesting thing, when you pitch from the stretch position, you don't have the good curveball, or as good a curveball, or as good a fastball.
Well, he strikes out the first man that he faces with nobody on, working out of the stretch. 4 strikeouts for Hershiser as Maine heads back to the bench. And Rich Aurelia will be up, and Dak probably feels like a genius right about now. That smile lasted just until the next hitter got into the batter's box. That's the life of a pitching coach. What would be the advantage then?
Control, mainly.
There's a lot less movement now, eh? Many fewer things that can go wrong when you pitch from the stretch. There's not as much movement as your normal windup, and a lot of pitchers, in order to try to get rid of all the excess movement, will go. I used to do this once in a while, not necessarily in the middle of the ball game, but to take all the excess movement out of the delivery. And what you're doing here is that you want to get your hands and your knee going up at the same time, and you just have a couple of things to do before you deliver the ball.
1-2 now to Aurelia.
Just like in hitting, the more movement you have with the bat or your body, the tougher it is to control the bat.
You got to get it going. I mean, in hitting, you've got to get the bat started. You've got to get the arm started. You got to get your leg going. Got to get your hands moving. But, and I mean, the prime example, the antithesis of this is Hideo Nomo, who had so much movement, he had so many places that his delivery just could go haywire. I think that was one of the problems why he had such terrible control problems.
Nice stop by Ventura. And Aurelia is retired, 2 men away. So would you recommend that for a young pitcher? I mean, going all the way back to Little League, if you're just trying to learn and feel your way around, is there something beneficial to telling a kid to work like this?
It probably is. I think it would depend on the individual pitcher. It'd be very difficult to say without, being specific. I don't think that your Little League pitchers would be so advanced where this would really be much help.
Chris Brock, the Giant pitcher, allowed to hit. The first pitch, he bounces to Olerud to win the inning. So Hershiser gets the Giants in order.
Willie. Let's go, John.
creepy mouse with the goggles is back in my apartment. Really? Can I hang here?
Absolutely. With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down. Make it a Bud Light.
I used to be a car racer.
Oh, wow.
It's the Jeep Spring event, and great deals on your favorite Jeep vehicles are showing up wherever you look. Like a zero-down, $269 a month Cherokee Sport lease with $764 due at signing. And get all this at no extra charge. Or get a no-charge automatic on Jeep Wrangler. The landscape will never be the same during the Jeep Spring event, the event that's getting everyone to sit up and take notice. Check out this $269 lease at your Jeep dealer today.
Okay, so everyday errands aren't always so rewarding. That's why Chase introduces the Chase Continental Airlines banking card, the first debit card that rewards you with one-pass miles. Use it instead of cash or checks, and get miles for every little thing you buy. Because when shopping seems less than rewarding, at least you've earned some miles. Another great reason to open a Chase checking account. Chase, the right relationship is everything.
Let's check the Toyota out-of-town scoreboard as we go to the last of the sixth inning. Pittsburgh Pirates, big lead over the Rockies. Padres and Cubs, no score. Diamondbacks going to be a team to keep an eye on in the National League all year. Everything else in the National League goes tonight. Robin Ventura takes ball one. Ventura, Matt Franco, and Brian McRae do the hitting for New York here in the sixth inning. That's the rest of the National League schedule. In the American League, Minnesota leading Baltimore, and that's the only day game underway right now. Boston, Oakland goes later. The rest of the games are night games in the American League. Ventura singled in the go-ahead run in the third inning. That's doing their damage there after two are out and nobody on. Hit in the air to center. Marvin Bernard in, fighting the sun, continues to fight, and he loses the battle. Ventura goes to second. That appeared to be all sun rather than wind.
Boy, we saw it last week in Chicago, the day game at Wrigley Field. All 3 days there, and that's exactly what happens here. I got it. No, I don't got it. Yeah, I got it. Oh, no, I lose it again. That's sun. Really problems for the outfielders at certain times of the day.
Well, there's not a cloud in the sky, so the sun is pretty bright. And he has those glasses that are permanent glasses. They're not the flip-down kind. And you can get different degrees of shade in the sunglasses. And he needs a dark shade.
Nothing at one now to Matt Franco, who's grounded out twice. So the Mets now with a runner in scoring position and nobody out, trying to build on a 3-2 lead. Low, 1-1. Giants are playing Franco to pull in the outfield. That pulls the ball on the ground. Will probably get Ventura to third base, where he could score on an out.
This is a situation where the pitcher has got to try and make him hit the ball the other way toward third or short.
He pops it up to the left side. Let's see if this becomes an adventure.
That should be no problem.
But the ball is held at the last second by Hayes.
Yeah, I told you it'd be no problem. Just a piece of cake.
On that play, Robin Ventura at second base had a look at Charlie Hayes. And I think the third base umpire, Bob Davidson, may have been blocked. And Robin Ventura turned right around and pointed at the second base umpire and said, that ball hit the ground. That ball hit the ground. I think Davidson was blocked, or did he have a good view of it? Well, it looked like it popped right into his glove. Ventura was saying, no, he didn't.
They got two players involved, huh?
Yes, it did. He kept it off the ground. Good play by Charlie Hayes.
The circus is in town. It was not the sun on that ball. That was just the wind there.
So 0-1 to McRae. Ventura still at second with 1 out. Outfield a shade towards left, and a fastball sails high, 1-1.
You know, the interesting thing about that, once that ball has hit the glove, and even though it's got, you can run. Because once it's touched, and if the ball had dropped, you could take off. You can't juggle it all the way in. You know, like an outfielder could juggle it, and you couldn't run, take advantage of it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to McRae.
Like if you're on third and the ball goes to the outfield and the outfielder hits it with the glove, now you can come in. And after he catches it on the bounce or whatever in the air, you would be able to score it.
Upstairs with a heater, 2-2. The combination of the sun and the wind so far have created several adventurous plays on the infield and the outfield.
You give the shortstop an assist on that play?
Just for pointing directions.
He was there.
He said, I was with you all the way, pal. Charlie Hayes did the spinning, the diving, and finally the dirty work. That's a guy who's with you win or tie.
Moral support. Those infielders give each other moral support.
So a full count here to McRae with Todd Pratt on deck. That's trying to push across an insurance run here in the 6th inning. To the right side, nice stop by Snow. Good job by the pitcher Brock to get over. Ventura goes to third. Now there are 2 men away.
We talked about it a little bit earlier. J.T. Snow at first base. Many people in the game of baseball think he is the best defensive first baseman in the game today. Great hands, good range, good arm, good everything. Great body balance there. And the little flip toss to Brock at first and 2 outs.
No hesitation by the pitcher Brock either. He started hustling to the bag as soon as that ball was hit. J.T. Snow with a fine play. Now Ventura's at third with 2 out. Pratt's got 1 out of 2. And he lays off the fastball, 1-0.
J.T. Snow's dad was a great football player at Notre Dame and in the NFL. Played with the Rams.
Chris Brock about to deliver his 100th pitch of the day, and Maine keeps it in front of him. 2-0 now on Todd Pratt. Luis Lopez is on deck. Now Lopez been swinging the bat fairly well his last few games. Doesn't have the reputation of a dangerous offensive hitter, so let's see what Brock does here 2-0. He throw a fastball or throw a breaking ball. He came in, he challenged Pratt with heat, 2-1.
Whether that was a strike or not, we don't know yet. There's a kind of situation where a hitter is sitting on a particular pitch, and if he gets a fastball, that's just above the top of the strike zone. That's a good pitcher's pitch. You get it just a couple of inches lower, and it's a good hitter's pitch.
He singled up a fastball the last time up.
High with a breaking ball, 3-1.
You can see Pratt genuflect on that breaking ball. He started him off with a breaking ball back in the 4th inning, and he didn't react to it. See what he does, 3-1 here. Good swing by Pratt. Pratt hit in the 4th inning. The very first pitch from Brock was a breaking ball, and it buckled Pratt's knee. Now, the catcher obviously should notice that. The pitcher should notice that. Knowing that Pratt is a first ball hitter, and you could see his knees buckle.
The mind was strong, but the body was weak.
Now, if you were a pitcher, what would you select to throw?
I would not throw a fastball.
Lopez on deck. This will be a payoff pitch. He gave him the fastball, but up and in. So another base on balls. Only the 3rd today by Pratt, but the Mets and Giants have spent plenty of time this season walking down to first base. Mets leading the National League in that category, and the Giants 8 behind. So now runners at the corners. And with 2 men out, Luis Lopez will be the batter. Charlie Hayes, the third baseman, even with a bag. And a fastball upstairs. 1 now to Lopez. Lopez in the game has popped to second, drew a walk. And Dusty Baker is going to come out and chat with Chris Brock at the very least. Remember, the pitcher is up next, or due up next. But Mike Kincaid is on deck to pinch hit for Oral Hershiser. Well, Mets fans, Tuesday, May 4th will be the grand opening of the new flagship Mets clubhouse shop located at 143 East 54th Street. That's off of Lexington Avenue. Don't miss the festivities, including autograph sessions with Tommy Agee, Rusty Staub, Mookie Wilson, and Turk Wendell. Plus, Mr. Met will be on hand, too, to give away tickets and prizes. For more information, call 212-888-7508. Mr. Agee and Mr. Jones will represent Mobile, Alabama here tomorrow. Mr. Hershiser talking to Kevin Tollefson, that's physical therapist. And a looper to left by Lopez. It's going to fall in. Ventura scores. Pratt stops at second. RBI single for Luis Lopez. 4-2 New York. And Luis got his 5th RBI.
Well, Luis saved the run in the first inning and now drives in the run in the 6th. It's not how you hit them. It's where. A little bloop hit to left field. Nobody could track it down.
So Mike Kincaid now will hit for Oral Hershiser with 2 aboard. And a breaking ball misses. Kincaid hit his first major league home run earlier this week against the San Diego Padres. Got around the bases in about 3 seconds. Fouled back, hit the homer off of Dan Maselli. I don't know if Maselli had a fresh ball back from the catcher or the umpire by the time Kincaid had crossed home plate.
He had a very good swing there. A ball and no strikes against Brock. And his timing was perfect. Just fouled it. Hit the bottom half of the ball. Had a real good swing.
Fists one foul.
And that a real good pitch. Had a real good swing on the fastball, and the pitcher came right back with another fastball, but up and in. Kind of a situation that maybe the hitter is looking for the breaking ball, and there, a fastball up and in. Fouled it off to the right side.
Well, Hershiser made an adjustment, working from the stretch with nobody on in the 6th inning. Kincaid hit by the pitch. Hit by a 1-2 breaking ball, and that loads the bases. And if Dusty Baker's not happy, multiply it about tenfold for Chris Brock. He was ahead of Kincaid, a ball and 2 strikes. Now the bases are loaded.
Well, that's the last thing he wanted to do was a hit batter, and now if Dusty's out to the mound, that's going to be all for Brock.
Oh, it was the last thing he did. So Dusty Baker will head to his bullpen. A bases loaded, 2-out situation awaits the Mets.
Benjamin Moore dealer. That's how. Benjamin Moore is the brand professionals trust. It goes on easy in all the colors of your imagination. So if you can dream it, you can live it. And you can say wow for years to come. Benjamin Moore. Best paint, best results.
Older eaters feet are sweeter, fresher, drier, cleaner, neater. Just kick off your shoe, and you'll know it's true. Odor Eaters' feet are sweeter.
Only Odor Eaters insoles, sprays, and powders are fortified with genuine Arm & Hammer baking soda. They destroy, devour, and defend against foot odor and wetness.
Odor Eaters' feet are sweeter.
Is your business moving fast enough? Get Red. Red is 17 times faster than 56K, 8 times faster than ISDN. Red is high-speed digital connectivity over standard phone lines. Red is affordable. Red is here. Call 1-888-RED-2000.
Joseph.
Yes, Papa.
Call on the thistles, the dandelions, and the other weed families. It's time we made peace.
Peace? With the thistles? Papa!
There is an enemy that threatens all weeds. It is the spray, and it is unlike any other.
Well, bribe it then.
The spray does not respond to bribes.
No bribes? What's the world coming to?
Roundup kills weeds others can't. Roundup. No root, no weed, no problem.
Tonight, the boys are back in town. Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte together again. They're out to catch a killer if they don't kill each other first in the knockdown, drag-out adventure. Another 48 hours. That's tonight at 11:30, only on the WB11, New York's movie station. So the new pitcher for the San Francisco Giants, really a new pitcher for the San Francisco Giants, recently acquired Jerry Spradlin. Spradlin coming over from the Cleveland Indians for minor league outfielder Dan McKinley, and a player to be named later. He had his best season in 1998 last year for the Philadelphia Phillies. Then he went to the Indians over the winter for Chad Ojay. But he provides some depth in the bullpen for the San Francisco Giants. He inherits a bases-loaded two-out jam. That's Pratt at third, Lopez at second, and Kincaid at first.
Welcome to New York. Saturday afternoon, the bases loaded.
He'll go after Roger Cedeno, 0 for 2 with a walk. Inside, 1-0. That's now with a 4-2 lead. Giants just a shade the other way against Cedeno in the outfield. And Spradlin deals in the air, center field. Bernard had trouble with the sun before, but he stays with the wind and the ball that time, and the side retired. The Mets leave the bases loaded. They add a run. Ralph Kiner rejoins us tomorrow, 4-2 New York.
Hercules battles an evil King Arthur and the power of Excalibur. The strength of a god, the magic of Merlin, and all new Hercules. Tonight at 9 on the WB11.
We begin each project the way method actors work. We become the buyer. We became minivan drivers. The new Quest grew out of real-life issues, and you can smell it in the final product. We designed an immovable rear shell. It's got dual sliding doors. It's even got a video player for the kids. Happy kids, happy parents.
Natural, real. I want to look the way I feel. I'm a Grecian man. Want it quick, hassle-free. A look that really looks like me. Grecian man. A Grecian man, no time for gray. A new generation, a whole new day. Our goal was to create an exciting car, tough enough to take whatever the world can throw at it. Quite frankly, we nailed it. Grand Am with solid form design. Right now, make the most solid Grand Am ever built yours by taking advantage of this solid deal. Grand Am. Excitement well built. See your local Pontiac dealer today.
Now we go to the 7th inning here at Shea Stadium. The Mets looking to build their winning streak up to 4. Added a run in the last of the 6th inning. It's now 4-2 and a new pitcher for the Mets. Oral Hershiser was hit for by Mike Kincaid. And now Josias Manzanillo will take over the pitching for New York. Manzanillo was up earlier in this game. He was throwing in the 4th inning when Oral Hershiser got into some trouble. But I don't know, Tom, maybe this day will become somewhat significant to Oral Hershiser, who made an adjustment going into the 6th inning, working out of the stretch with nobody on. And it turned out that he would work his only 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon.
Well, I think he just tried to get himself comfortable. He struggled his last outing in Chicago, as we talked about. He struggled here today. Now, that is the mark of a good competitor, being able to keep your ball club in the game. And here, Oral has a chance certainly to win a ball game. He has won 191 games in his career. He really wants to get to 200. This would put him at 192. A couple of changes for the Mets. Jermaine Allensworth goes into left field, and he'll hit in that number 5 spot. And Josias Manzanillo will take over the pitching. This is one of the strong spots, obviously, for the Mets. They get to that bullpen. They've been terrific out of the bullpen.
Manzanillo, a high strikeout pitcher. He struck out 15 in 12 innings of work. However, his first 2 pitches out of the strike zone to Marvin Bernard. Bernard at the top of the San Francisco batting order, to be followed by Armando Rios and Ellis Burks. 2-0 from Manzanillo, hits the outside corner. Bernard walked, hit back to the box, and was struck out. 2-2, and it was Bernard who was not able to find a fly ball through the sun, hit by Robin Ventura, leading off the 6th inning, which led to the Mets' insurance run that they picked up.
Manzanillo continually talks to himself on the mound, giving himself encouragement, reminding him of things to do. What a beautiful pitch right there. Manzanillo was very upset with himself. He fell behind 2 balls and no strikes. Said, come on, settle down and throw strikes. Make good pitches. Came right back with 3 successive strikes and a beauty at strike 3, the breaking ball. Totally fooled the hitter. Very quick, very late breaking ball.
And Marvin Bernard retired. Armando Rios takes the ball. So Manzanillo has fallen behind each of the first 2 hitters now. Rios 1 out of 3. A couple ground ball outs as well as a base hit. Mets shade him to pull. But the pitch taken away. So again, Manzanillo falls behind 2-0. Rios with a couple of home runs early on, as Ralph was talking about earlier. And after him, you really get into the power of the Giants' order, albeit without Barry Bonds. You still have Ellis Burks and Jeff Kent coming up next. And a 2-run Met lead, 4-2 New York. 2-1 pitch to Rios. So hard stuff down from Manzanillo, and once again he's fought back to even the count.
Funny kind of game, Howie, in the sense that no team has had a real big hit in that sense. It could have blown the game open. Both teams have had chances. The Giants have certainly had chances. Runner on third, and the first inning couldn't get him in. Bases loaded with 1 out in the 4th, couldn't get him in. Runner on third in the 5th. Oral Hershiser pitched well again and saved that run.
Inside with a fastball, so now Manzanillo's run a full count. We'll get that fastball up into the low 90s. Already seen a good breaking ball on 3-2. Rios fouls it back. Manzanillo in his 2nd tour with the New York Mets. He first came back to the Mets. He joined them just before a road trip last year. Greeted everybody on the plane like a conquering hero. And why not? With that kind of stuff, he strikes out Rios, and so now he has struck out the first 2 batters he's faced here in the 7th inning.
The Met bullpen really a strength of this ball club, to a man as they come out. From Manzanillo all the way down to the closer, John Franco. The setup men, Armando Benitez. The middle mid, another great pitch on 3-2.
Now he's got Ellis Burks with the bases empty.
You can see him how he reminds himself. Manzanillo very animated on the mound, trying to control himself. Said, you got to get this leg up. You got to get this over there. You know how to pitch. Constantly reminding himself the little keys that he has in order to deliver the ball correctly.
Well, he's found the formula. He's behind 2-0 again, as he's been to all three batters here. Struck the first two out, and almost on cue, he throws a strike to Burks.
2-0, and then a good fastball down and away on that outside corner.
He's the fastest worker we've seen on the mound this afternoon, too. Got in on the hands of Burks, and now he's a pitch away from striking out the side. Of course, there's got to be some degree of competition in that Met bullpen, even though the roles have been so clearly defined. You know, Manzanillo wants some of these late-inning responsibilities, too. Armando Benitez warming up now, probably will pitch the eighth. But the 2-2 on the way, struck out the side. Josias Manzanillo fell behind all three hitters 2-0, struck them all out. And it's time to stretch here at Shea. 4-2 New York.
Yahoo? There's big news in the shipping business. Now there's a shipper that confirms your packages were received. A shipper that uses digital scanners, lets you check on delivery by phone or internet, and can save you up to 65% over 2-day services. Which one is it? The U.S. Postal Service. Introducing delivery confirmation for priority mail. So, now what's your priority?
Jeter's looking good this year, huh? Countless ball players have come up to the major leagues for the proverbial cup of coffee. But only a few hundred have tasted the Demitas.
New Yorkers don't really talk like this, and a New York paper shouldn't either. The new Sunday edition of the Daily News covers New York the way you want it. From award-winning sports writing to Showtime, our all-new entertainment section, and Lifeline, the city survival guide. The new Sunday Daily News, New York the way you want it.
During Adventure 99, you can lease a Dodge Intrepid for $249 a month. Or buy an Intrepid and get a vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. It's the adventure of a lifetime, and we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
Last of the seventh inning, Mets with a 4-2 lead over the Giants. Edgardo Alfonzo, John Olerud, and Robin Ventura to do the swinging against Jerry Spradlin. Second pitcher used by Dusty Baker this afternoon, and Alfonzo's had another good day with 2 for 3, including a home run. Nice crowd here for Bat Day today. Another big crowd. Should be on hand tomorrow. Again, the weather is going to be beautiful tomorrow, or so the forecasters say. So if you want to see Tom Seaver take BP, make sure to get out here. 11 o'clock tomorrow is when the 1969 Mets and their opponents will start taking batting practice.
There are not many tickets left for that thing of beauty.
1-1 to Alfonzo. And a breaking ball fouled away.
Edgardo last night came in hitting .267. Got 4 for 5, 4 singles last night. And 2 for 3 today. A home run in the first inning. The Mets' first run.
I've got sources, by the way, say you've been spotted at various batting cages around the tri-state area here.
Edgardo up over 300. Talk about a hot streak early in the season. Over the course of 2 games, you go from .267, and all of a sudden you wake up and you're a 300 hitter. He's up to 309.
And he pops this one up. This may or may not reach the seats. Snow wants it, and he's got it one away. A lot of great memories will be relived here tomorrow, and a lot of truths will be exaggerated. For example, Randy Hundley, to this day, Tom, swears that he got Tommy Agee at home plate on this day. Now, there's no way he got him, right?
Well, whether he got him or not, the umpire said no, he did not get him, and watch the reaction by Randy Hundley, and he does his best jumping up and down and arguing with Satch Davidson behind home plate. Satch says, no, you didn't get him. He was rather stoic looking at him. It was a big series here late in the year. Hot summer evenings at Shea Stadium, packed houses.
Same series when the Black Cat suddenly appeared.
That Black Cat came out, ran up and down in front of the Cub dugout.
2-0 now to John Olerud. Downstairs, 3-0.
They're still talking about that 1969 series, obviously in New York, where they talked about it this season, I should say. They talk about it in Chicago a lot. And if you really look back at it, Leo DeRocher had a four-man pitching staff, pitching a lot of day games in Chicago in the heat of the summer, a little bit older, and their pitching staff folded at the end of the year. Outside ball 4 for Olerud. And when Gil Hodges came over here with Rube Walker as pitching coach, he put the pitching staff on a 5-day rotation. Not 5 men, but a 5-day rotation, and there is a difference. Your number one pitcher was going to pitch every 5th day, period. And if you got rain, somebody was going to be moved out. And that club, under the guidance of Gil Hodges, number 14, was very strong down the stretch, down the last 6 weeks of the season, and the pitching for the Cubs folded.
Fouled away by Ventura. Now, you did more throwing between starts than was conventional before that, weren't you?
We used to throw the second day after and throw, oh, let's see, anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes in the bullpen, depending on how much work you think you needed or how much work Rube Walker thought you needed.
0-1 to Ventura. Bounces one foul to the left side. 0-2. One of the legends of that summer of '69 in Chicago had it that Leo DeRocher actually took a few days off, probably feeling pretty comfortable about things in August. I think it was his stepson was at summer camp, and Leo left the ball club for a few days. Some of the Cub players weren't quite comfortable with that.
Weren't they 8 games ahead at one point?
Yeah, well, they're 9.5 ahead on August 13th, which was the turning point. Back to the box and bobbled. In fact, it hit Spradlin in the hand. Jerry Spradlin may be hurt. Either that or he just wants the world to know that that's why he didn't come up with a ball.
Well, that ball not hit very hard by Robin Ventura. It just depends on whether it would catch Spradlin on the end of the finger or end of the thumb, catch a fingernail, and he definitely shook his hand after that ball hit him. We'll see if he is credited with a hit or an error on that play. I bet you could guess how I'd call it.
Error?
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Now, how would you have called it 25 years ago?
E1.
All right, let's see.
I can say that most honestly.
Wait a minute. Now, you came up in 67. How about 32 years ago as a rookie?
E1.
Even then, huh? All right. Well, that's how it's scored. An error on Robin Ventura. So Olerud at second. Ventura at first. And Jermaine Allensworth, his first at-bat of the afternoon. Came in defensively from Matt Franco at the top of the 7th inning. 0-1 to Allensworth. Jermaine a little slow to get the bat going so far after a pretty good spring. Spradlin appears to be all right. 0-1 to Allensworth. They shade him the other way in the outfield. Looking for 2 on the infield, and he takes strike 2.
He's getting ready to go take batting practice. That's exactly what that guy's going to do. He's got a big day tomorrow. He's got to take batting practice and throw an inning. a bunch of 55, 60-year-old men. Not as easy as it sounds.
Outside to Allensworth. Now, you say you're only going to face one batter or throw one pitch.
No, I'm going to pitch an inning if they'll let me.
Any scores to settle? Anybody?
Nope.
Nobody's going to hit
Nope.
the deck?
We won. If you look back at the World Champions of '69, we won.
That's all you need to say, right?
Yep. Case is closed.
Olerud at second, Ventura at first. It'll be a 1-2 to Allensworth. Did he hold his swing? Yes, according to Ed Rapuano. You know, I had the pleasure of broadcasting a championship team when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup in 1994. Mark Messier, after that season, who was the captain of that team, said there's a bond when you win a championship that lasts forever between everybody who had anything to do with the club. Now, you're going to see some guys tomorrow you only played with 1 year. A guy like Bobby File or Jack DeLauro. 2-2 here to Allensworth. Lined into right field. That's a base hit. Olerud held at third as the throw comes back in, and now the Mets have the bases loaded. So I'm just curious, when you think about tomorrow, you're going to see a couple of guys you played with 1 year, but a championship year. Is the bond with people like File and DeLauro a little stronger than with players who you might have played with for 3, 4, 5 years, but did not win a championship with?
Your conversation with Messier, I was having the exact same conversation with some of the writers on the field before the game today about the bond that does exist when you win a world championship. You come up as young players and you dream of becoming a world champion, winning a World Series, getting a World Series ring, and when you do at that very young age, yes, exactly the same word that I used, the bonds that develop between those teammates last forever.
Brian McRae takes ball one. We will have highlights of that game between the 1969 Mets.
Will you also have some of the lowlights out of that? That's what I want to know.
We're a full-service operation here, and that all depends on performance. They call them highlights. That's a generic term. McRae hits one in the air, pretty deep right field. Burks going back. Burks to the wall. That's a gunner. A grand salami for Brian McRae. The Mets have busted this one open. It's 8-2 New York. Well, it's his time of year. The calendar says May 1st, so the slow April is now officially behind Brian McRae.
McRae had 3 RBIs coming in on the day, hitting under 200. And he just went from 3 RBIs to 7 RBIs. Now Leiter trying to shove him out there and get a curtain call, and Brian will not do it. He said, nope. My dad might be mad at me. Grand slam. Boy, does that make a player happy.
8-2 Mets. A strike to Todd Pratt.
You can just about lock up win number 192 for Oral Hershiser, too. 8 more to go for 200.
Todd Pratt lifts one in the air to right field. This is an easy play for Ellis Burks. So there are 2 men away. 5 career grand slams now for McRae.
Shortstop Louis Lopez.
Fastball down and over the plate. And the wind not really affecting that ball. The wind blocked by the big scoreboard in right center field. And enough to carry out of here. You're talking about dreams of world championships. That's one of the things that players, offensive players, think about is that grand slam home run. Funny, our quiz earlier today was about the guy that holds the record of the National League, Willie McCovey. And Lou Gehrig holds the Major League record. Al Leiter saying, how would that feel? I'd like to do that someday.
Well, McRae will tell anyone who asks right about now. And Lopez hit by a pitch. Spradlin, I believe, has been warned. The home plate umpire, Mark Wegner, pointed right at Jerry Spradlin. I'm not sure if that's an official warning or not.
I don't think so. I think he was pointing to first base that, yes, the ball hit the batter and did not hit the ground. And they'll check Luis Lopez and make sure that he's okay. Now, I think it was a breaking ball down and in. I think the umpire came around and simply said, yeah, the ball did hit him going to first base. Yep, down to first. At least that's the direction it looks like to me that he was pointing.
Now remember, Brian McRae with a grand slam in this inning. And occasionally, pitchers will take out their frustration on the next hitter or two. Remember, Lopez also frustrated the San Francisco Giants his last time up when he dunked an RBI single into left field. So Josias Manzanillo, with the Mets now 6 runs ahead, will bat. Generally, if the Mets have a lead of 3 runs or less, the way Bobby Valentine has maneuvered his bullpen, he'd be getting ready for Armando Benitez, who had been throwing. But I think Bobby Bonilla and Bobby Jones had a pretty good chuckle at Manzanillo's swing there. But this one they won't laugh about. They pitched him inside, and he turned on it and went the other way. Inside-out hit, and McRae can appreciate it.
You can guarantee that Josias Manzanillo will get his pound of flesh out of this one. John Franco applauding because that is his first major league base hit. He called for the ball, sent it back into the dugout. So a souvenir for Josias Manzanillo. And you know who should hold it? The guys that were teasing him after his swing, the first swing, and that's exactly who got the ball. Bonilla, Bobby Bonilla had the ball.
Up the middle by Cedeno. Nice stop by Aurelia. Kent can't hold on. Lopez will stop at third. The Mets have the bases loaded. So the Mets have batted around now, and everybody's getting a chuckle out of things. Manzanillo's not only had to hit, he's had to run the bases. Everybody's enjoyed it.
Well, it is not picture perfect, but it will bring smiles to certain people's faces.
Well, he muscles this into it in the right field.
Just pure strength, absolutely. He's going to get to first before the right fielder throws him out at first.
He wants that ball.
He says, throw that ball. That's going on the shelf.
So now it's Alfonso. And once again, the Mets have the bases loaded. Why was Franco laughing in the bullpen? Watch Manzanillo's base running here, Tom. Watch Manzanillo and watch second base. Oops.
You guys are cold. You guys are cold on these pitchers. Leave the pitchers alone. Might be the first time he's been on base in 5 years. Leave the poor guy alone. He's got a base hit.
Well, maybe they could work around until Brian McRae can come up again and pull a Fernando Tatis. Alfonso fouls it back 1-2. Fernando Tatis of the St. Louis Cardinals last week hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning. Major league record. But you've got to get Alfonso, Olerud, Ventura, and Allensworth all aboard with 2 outs. Keep the bases loaded to get to that point. Inside, 2-2.
Well, the performance here today will give Dusty Baker concern. His bullpen was the best in the National League last year with a 3.16 earned run average. But they have not done the job in the first couple of games here. And he will go to that bullpen and use it a lot. As much as any manager in the National League.
Well, he's got a pretty dependable left-hander out there, situational left-hander in Rich Rodriguez. Then he's got John Stone to set up Nen. Other than that, it's been mix and match for Ron Baranowski, the pitching coach, and Dusty Baker. One of the reasons they got Spradlin just last week was to try to give them some more depth in that pen leading up to the closer. Little looper foul.
They had more innings out of the bullpen than anybody else in the National League last year. Of course, they lost Sean Estes last year to shoulder strain. He pitched here last night, pitched poorly last night. And he is a guy that could eat up some innings for you. But Dusty is a guy that will go to that bullpen. There's Alan Embry getting loose. 4 runs in already for New York.
Outside, 3-2. Now the carousel will be in motion. Restart for the base runners.
2 grand slams in 1 inning.
That'll be interesting. Remember Tatis last week. Now you got to watch Manzanillo at second. Make sure on a base hit he doesn't pass Lopez. And the payoff pitch on the way. A little chopper. Fair ball. Hayes touched the bag. The side retired. So the Mets send 10 men to the plate. Brian McRae with 1 swing of the bat brings home 4 of them. 8-2 New York.
With AT&T Digital One Rate, this isn't just any phone. It's my Hey Rob, how's the pattern Utah phone? My I'll pick red, no make that teal phone. My how are you doing in college phone. My can you deliver the piano on Tuesday phone. My Casey scored a goal phone.
The world of wireless has changed. AT&T Digital One Rate. No roaming or long distance charges across all 50 states. And with rates so low, AT&T could make your wireless phone your only phone.
These days, at more and more hotels, breakfast is on the house. What's different about our complimentary breakfast is what you have to go through to get it. Embassy Suites, a design for living.
It's the National Chrysler Plymouth Spring Sales Drive with $1,000 cash allowance or low APR on every new award-winning minivan. See your local dealer today.
Show up at Shea for Batting Helmet Day, sponsored by AC Delco and Tanza Automotive.
Be here on Saturday, May 22nd, as the Mets take on their division rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies. All kids will take home a Mets batting helmet, courtesy of AC Delco and Tanza Automotive. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX.
New year, new team, new magic. Are you ready?
Well, the Mets made a dramatic addition to the Toyota line score in the 7th inning. Those 4 runs courtesy of Brian McRae's grand slam, the 5th of his career. Last one was back in September of 1997. But for Josias Manzanillo, well, pretty adventurous inning offensively, but on the mound, struck out the side, Tom.
Chewing on every hitter that walked up there, came back and got each one of them, and not afraid to show his emotions very positively on the mound. He's a real good kid, real good competitor. Loves to come in there, be part of that bullpen, which is arguably the best in baseball. Proud to be part of that bullpen. In a situation where he can pick up a save if he pitches all 3 innings and Bobby Valentine doesn't go and bring somebody in to pitch tonight. Ray Ordonez at shortstop will take over for Luis Lopez, who got hit on the foot last inning. Nope, Luis moving over to second, huh?
Yeah, Edgardo Alfonso is going to take the rest of the day off. Manzanillo starting his 2nd inning of work. Throws strike 1 for the first time. Jeff Kent, 1 out of 2 with a walk today. 8-11-1 for New York, 2-5-1 for the Giants. Hot foul by Kent over towards the Met dugout. Pratt and Olerud are hopeful, but it's a couple of rows back. So Alfonso, after a 4-hit night last night, went 2 for 5 today. Bobby Valentine will give him the rest of the day off. Ordonez not in the starting lineup. but he'll play the last 2 innings at shortstop. The Mets gave Mike Piazza and Ricky Henderson the day off, and they've still scored 8 runs. 1-2 now to Kent.
You win without guys that are your normal guys in the lineup. Piazza, Henderson, Ordonez. It keeps them sharp, keeps the bench sharp, and gives your everyday players, so-called everyday players, a chance to rest. You know, Piazza's knee coming back, having the day game after the night game, wearing the brace on the knee, slid into second base, and maybe banged it just a tad. Good day for a day off. Right-handed pitcher on the mound.
And the Giants will have a left-hander, Kirk Reeder, going tomorrow.
Yep.
Against Masato Yoshii. We'll have that one for you as well here on the WB11. Two and two to Kent, leading off the San Francisco 8. And a liner into right center. Jeff Kent aboard with his second hit of the game. The Giants get the leadoff man on here in the 8th.
First baseman J.T. Snow.
So Jeff Kent, who has really emerged as a run-producing second baseman with the San Francisco Giants since leaving the Mets, obviously his run production hampered by the loss of Barry Bonds. Fastball taken by J.T. Snow for a strike. Got to give Kent all the credit in the world for the way he was able to realize every ounce of his ability going to San Francisco. And J.T. Snow pulls one through the hole. Kent's going to go to third. Cedeno's throw will be cut off by Ordonez. And the Giants have runners in the corners with nobody out. 2 straight hits off of Josias Manzanillo.
This is a situation, we talked about it last night, with John Olerud playing in front of the base runner. Here with the Mets 6 runs ahead. That runner on first really didn't mean anything. Had he been playing behind the runner, I don't think he'd have gotten to that ball, because you can't play all the way back and simply give second base up. You can see where he's playing right here. If he's back there behind, no, I don't think he'd have gotten that. But the idea that the runner at first base at that time really means absolutely nothing. And by playing him a little bit deeper, you increase your defensive area that you can cover. Especially with a left-handed hitter up behind him.
Breaking ball misses to Charlie Hayes, 2-0. Bobby Valentine would love to be able to give Manzanillo the entire 8th and maybe even the 9th with a 6-run lead right now and save the rest of the bullpen. But he'll get some action out there again as Manzanillo misses inside. 3-0 to Hayes. And so Armando Benitez, who was up briefly earlier, has gotten up again. He got up with the Mets batting at the beginning of the home 7th. In anticipation of pitching the 8th inning, but then McRae hit the grand slam. Benitez sat down. 3-1 to Hayes. Kent at third, Snow at first. And now the bases are loaded. So with a 6-run Met lead, the Giants have the first 3 aboard here in the 8th inning. And a left-hand hitter, Brent Mayne, coming up.
Bobby Valentine's checking his scorecard in the dugout. He's looking to see who Dusty Baker has on his bench that could pinch hit. And he looks, obviously, at the right and left-handers that he has in his bullpen.
Mayne, a walk, a single, and a strikeout in 3 trips. F.P. Santangelo was an available switch hitter in the Giant dugout. And a breaking ball taken for a strike. So Kent's at third. He led off with a single. J.T. Snow at second. He followed with a base hit. Charlie Hayes drew a walk. He's the runner at first. The 0-1 pitch. Hit hard. Nice stop by Olerud. And Olerud wins the race with Mayne. A run scores. It's now 8-3. And everybody moves up. The Giants still have runners at second and third with 1 out now. Brent Mayne gets his 7th RBI.
That ball hit sharply by Mayne. And a good play by John Olerud. Not covering the line exclusively. No need to with the 4-run lead, excuse me, the 6-run lead that they had before that run scored, before Kent scored. Most important out of that inning, get the first out. Very important.
So now it's Aurelia. Singled, hit by a pitch, grounded to third. Mets keep the infield back naturally with a 5-run lead. They'll give up 1 run here to get the second out. 1-0 on the Giants shortstop. Weakly hit and foul. Fielded by Sonny Jackson, the third base coach. Talked about how aggressive he's been with his Giants team. That's the kind of base runner he was. He could fly in his playing days.
He was a great high school football player,
really?
Too. Yeah.
Sonny, a shortstop with the Houston Astros.
Played against him for many years. Good old player, smart player.
Aurelia hits it into center field. Ryan McRae fighting the sun. Makes the catch. Tagging is Snow. The throw comes into Ordonez. RBI for Aurelia. Now it's 8-4 New York with 2 men out here in the 8th inning.
One of the things you have to remember about the Giants, of their 16 victories this year, 9 have been from come behind. So they are a ball club, granted without Barry Bonds in the lineup, but a ball club that will not say die, and they've been very good at coming from behind and posting victories this year. So Dusty Baker said, yeah, we're going to be up by 6 runs, and they've got a ball club. You get Ellis Burks up there, or Snow, or somebody that can hit the ball out of the ballpark right back in the ball game. They're, you know, if that ball goes out of the ballpark there, they're within 2 runs of tying the Mets.
Well, now they've got the pitcher spot due up. Reason we have a delay here is because a fan escaped onto the field and is being escorted off by some of the security people. Stan Javier has been swinging a bat in the on-deck circle, so he'll be the pinch hitter for Jerry Spradlin.
One of the things that Bobby Valentine's doing in that dugout, too, while everything's going on, he's looking at that lineup that the Giants have to find out where their tying run is. What do they have to do? How many hitters do they have to get to the plate to be able to score that tying run? And if that runner's in scoring position, who will be the hitter? He is planning that far ahead.
Well, consider that Stan Javier, with the Giants 4 runs behind, followed by Marvin Bernard. And that would mean Armando Rios, should the Giants continue to get on base, would be a potential tying run here in the 8th inning if the Giants could move it along that far. He's a left-hand batter. But Javier, going after the first pitch, hits it in the air to left. Allensworth is there, and the side retired. So the Giants loaded the bases with nobody out. They settle for 2, but the Mets have an 8-4 lead.
The Mets are taking on the Giants, and guess who's joining the action? Can you believe this? Catch him live from our broadcast booth tomorrow at 1:30 on the WB11. Channel 11.
Kids go through a lot of phases. My Joey's in the push-button phase. Phone, remote, calculator, you name it, he pushes it.
But with her Ford Windstar, Maria's in control. Now she pushes the buttons. And thanks to dual remote sliding doors, the kids hop right in. Plus, Windstar has a quadruple 5-star crash test rating. And now you can lease a new Windstar for just $289 a month.
Of course, this is still my favorite button.
Ford Windstar, built to last. Built for the way you live.
Avis Preferred Service System, linked by network, so without so much as signing a name, your car and keys are waiting. Still, at Avis, we know technology doesn't try harder. People do.
Running late, Mr. Spencer?
Yeah, huge presentation.
How about a call ahead for directions?
That would be great.
I'll drop you right at your car.
Speed and personal service. It's what everyone at Avis is dedicated to delivering. We try harder for you.
They're the ultimate weapons of the future. Almost human, almost perfect, and completely out of control. Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Give me your best shot.
Universal Soldier. Tomorrow at 5 on the WB11.
Last of the 8th inning at Shea Stadium. The Mets have exhausted some of their fans with all this offense. Part of our Jeep game summary. And nothing tiring about seeing the home team keep running around the bases. And Orel Hershiser was able to get clutch outs when he needed them, going 6 innings. And he stands to win this game should the Mets hold on. But the big hit, the Brian McRae grand slam off of Jerry Spradlin in the 7th inning. So the 6 full innings by Orel Hershiser, representing the longest outing that he's had so far this year. New shortstop for the San Francisco Giants, Ramon Martinez. And a new pitcher as well, left-hander Alan Embry will come on with John Olerud, Robin Ventura, and Jermaine Allensworth scheduled up here in the 8th. Olerud and Ventura, left-hand hitters. Alan Embry, former Cleveland Indian. He's considered a real bright prospect early in his career. Picked up a win last Sunday in Colorado. 2-0 on the season. And his first pitch, ball 1 to John Olerud. John with an RBI single in the 3rd inning. He's been on base twice in 4 trips, which means he'll inch that league-leading on-base percentage up just a touch. It was .495 coming in. Means he's on base just about half the time. The head in the count here, 2-0. And he's been on base in every game he's played so far. John now batting at .354, exactly what he hit a year ago. Beating Cleon Jones, club mark, which had held since 1969. Cleon will be here tomorrow for the '69 championship team's 30th anniversary. Mentioned Mobile, Alabama will be well represented. Cleon Jones, Tommy Agee. Fastball, ball 4. So Alan Embry walks John Olerud. Well, didn't Mobile also produce Billy Williams and a fellow by the name of Henry Aaron?
We used to have arguments in the Met clubhouse about whether the players that were born and raised in Fresno, California would be able to beat the guys from
That's 4 pretty good ones
Mobile.
from Mobile. What else you got from Fresno?
That's pretty good pitching over
Oh, you
there.
got 311 wins, and then what else?
Jim Maloney, Dick
Oh, really?
Ellsworth, Pat Corrales, Dick Soma. Yeah.
1-0 to Ventura. Jim Maloney pitched a no-hitter, and I think also took a no-hitter into extra innings against the Mets. He had 2 no-hitters?
2 no-hitters, yeah.
Plus the one that the Johnny Lewis broke up?
Struck out 18 one game, I believe. I think that's a guess at the top of my head. But he could really throw.
Alan Embry just shot one past his catcher, Brent Maine, and down to second goes Olerud.
Well, the Giant pitching staff has really had problems here the first 2 games. John Estes last night had a terrible first inning. Base on balls, walks, wild pitches.
Another wild pitch. This one charged to the account of Alan Embry. Yeah, Dick Selma from Fresno was a teammate of yours here. Had the misfortune of going to the Cubs in '69. Hit hard by Ventura, but foul. I don't believe Dick Selma is on the list of attendees tomorrow. Dick Ellsworth, you mentioned, that was a pretty good pitcher in the National League,
He was
too.
a very good pitcher. You know, they were from the same high school, Ellsworth Maloney and Pat Corrales.
Had to have a catcher in there somewhere, right?
3 good major league players. Ellsworth and Maloney, very good pitchers.
Fly ball, right field. Ellis Burks angling towards the line. Tagging at second is Olerud, and he's on to third. So Ventura with a fly ball out. Olerud now at third with 1 away. And Jermaine Allensworth will be next.
Robin Ventura just missed that. He hit the home run last night. He was down there needling Mike Piazza before the game today about the little bat that he's using, and Piazza uses a relatively big bat. He hit it just off the end. There you see that bat that coils up around behind his head. It's kind of the classic Charlie Lau swing. Walt Rainiac was the hitting coach in Chicago, and Robin Ventura, one of his disciples.
Rainiac in Boston when you were there? in '86? Was he part of that?
Rainiac was in Chicago.
He never went to Boston as a hitting coach? I thought he spent a little bit of time with the Red Sox, too.
He may have been there before he went to Chicago. I think he was there before he went to Chicago.
Jermaine Allensworth takes ball one.
One of the hitting coaches that got a relatively big contract from an owner. Jerry Reinsdorf gave him a big contract to be the hitting coach of the White Sox. And he was followed Charlie Lau's recipe to a T.
Infield in for Allensworth. Holds his swing 2-0. Specialization is not just something that takes place on the field with middle relievers and short relievers, more platooning than ever before, but even in the coaching aspect of the game, talking about hitting coaches, it's only been, I guess, about the last 20 or 25 years that every major league team has employed a full-time hitting coach, and it's filtered down to the minor leagues, too. Fastball to Allensworth, 2-1.
Well, you have bench coaches now. You have strength coaches. You have conditioning coaches. You know, the old traditional was that you had 4 coaches on the ball club. You got in the bullpen first and third, and your pitching coach on the bench with you.
But in the minor leagues, did you have a pitching coach?
We had a roving pitching coach.
So he didn't spend all his time with
Not
one
all the
team.
time, no. He would go around and visit all the minor league teams.
2-2 to Allensworth. Now each minor league team has its own pitching coach.
Sometimes more than one. They'll have the pitching coach and then the one that goes around the minor leagues.
Here, Bob Apodaca probably talking to the bullpen coach, Randy Neiman, who is, in effect, the assistant pitching coach. Let's have all kinds of pitching minds in their organization at the major league level. Not only Bob Apodaca, Randy Neiman, Dave Wallace, Tom Seaver. A lot of pitching know-how. Up the middle and with the infield in, Allensworth has an RBI single. Olerud scores, and Jermaine Allensworth makes it 9-4. He's got his second hit. So Allensworth 2 for 2.
Jermaine Allensworth came off the bench. A defensive replacement, and all of a sudden, boom, got 2 base hits. Single up the middle.
Jermaine's 2 for 2 this afternoon. He was 2 for 25 coming in. So he starts to come around. And Brian McRae takes a ball in the dirt. McRae lost one his last time up with the bases loaded. His 5th career salami.
You certainly don't think when you come into the ballpark on a Saturday afternoon, you're not in the lineup, and you say, well, we won't get anything done really too monumental today. And Jermaine Allensworth is going to go home. He's going to have a couple more hits underneath his belt. RBI. Pretty good day at the yard.
1-1 to McRae. And again, when the Mets had built a 4-2 lead, Bobby Valentine took Matt Franco out of the game for defense to get Allensworth in. And Allensworth certainly paid off with those 2 base hits. A bouncer to third. Hayes with a wide throw that winds up in right field. Allensworth holds on at second base. He was about to get up and retouch second, head back to third or down to third, but he lost his footing and decided to play it safe.
Well, the Giants came in today. They had made 20 errors coming into today's game. They've made 2 more, so they've got 24. In contrast, if you look at the number of errors the Mets have, they have only 6 errors. The Mets do, and the Giants, their defense, not very good here today.
Nor earlier in the week in Montreal. Wednesday night, in a game that they won, the Giants made 6 errors at Olympic Stadium. So now it's Todd Pratt with runners at first and second, and Embry misses with a fastball. Pratt struck out, singled, walked, and flied out, allowing Mike Piazza to take the afternoon after the night game off. 1-0 to Todd. And the fastball misses upstairs. So the Mets with 9 runs on 12 hits this afternoon. after scoring 7 runs last night. Big swing by Pratt. 2 balls and a strike.
Mike Pratt is a hitter that has a couple of swings. He'll have his swing just like that, which is a big, long, and full effort stroke when he's ahead in the count. And when he gets down to 2 strikes, he's really a much better hitter. He just tries to hit the ball off the middle, contact, put it in play, something that the hitting coach, Tom Robson, will preach.
Gets under that one and pops it up to the right side. Call the infield fly rule, so Jeff Kent puts it away. No advance by the runners. That's the second out. And Luis Lopez will be next.
There's a guy that did so much when Piazza was on the disabled list. Talking about a super sub. He was terrific offensively and defensively. Mike Piazza, who will be back in a game tomorrow. 2 clubs back at it for the 3rd game of this 3-game set.
16 runs in the first 2 games of this series produced by New York. Now Lopez will look for more, but fouls one back. Masato Yoshii faces Kirk Reeder tomorrow. We'll have that one for you here on the WB. Monday, Al Leiter scheduled to start, but chances are that Leiter will be pushed back a day and that Rick Reed will come off the disabled list and pitch Monday night against the Houston Astros. That is not yet official, but it is a strong possibility. The 0-1 to Lopez. Loop foul over by the Met dugout. Rick Reed not only had to battle that calf injury, but also came down with a virus, flu-like virus, which really sapped his strength and set him back a few more days. But he's had some side sessions. Feels fine. He's running fine, which is the real important thing given his injury. And he could be ready to go as soon as Monday.
You get the feeling from the number of people that you talk to around the clubhouse and on the field, etc. Nobody comes right out and says that, but it sounds like he's going to pitch Monday. Get him back in the rotation.
Plus, you give Leiter an extra day, too, to rest a knee, which he tweaked in his last start.
You know the thing about getting the cold or whatever he had, the flu, which pushed his recovery back for his leg. Leg problem that you have, you pull that plantaris muscle, which is up at the bottom of the calf muscle. That can be very naggy. If you don't let it heal fully, it's very easy to pull again. Fred Heaton, the trainer for the Mets, already has a system that he's going to use on Reed's legs to try to support that, pull everything up toward the knee, try not to let it flex so much where it would pull apart and strain those muscles, tendons again.
Line foul by Lopez. Is that like a brace that he'd have to wear on his off hours?
No, actually, he's just going to tape it up. I believe they're going to tape it up. I know this because I pull both the same muscles that Reed had pulled, the plantaris, which is a thin grizzly muscle that runs up the back of the leg and attaches, I believe, behind the knee. But when it happens, it's almost, you feel like you've been shot. You feel like you've taken a bullet right in the back of the calf. I guess that's the way a bullet feels.
Nice stop by Maine. I tell you, that's exactly how he went down when he got hurt in Montreal.
He said that's, you know, now I understand how a deer feels when they get shot during the hunting season, because that's exactly, you feel like you've been shot in the back of the leg. But if you don't let that thing heal, you very easily can pull it again.
First injured it in spring training. At that time, they were calling it an Achilles heel strain. 2-2 to Lopez, high. And now a full count and a free start for the runners. Allensworth at second, and McRae at first will be off on the 3-2 pitch. 9-4 New York. We're in the 8th inning. The Mets 3 outs away from a 4-game winning streak, especially significant because last night and tonight, coming against a club which came in here with 6 straight wins. And the runners will have to come back as Lopez fouls the ball off.
They came in here with 6 straight wins, best record in the National League. In good shape. I really thought this would be a real test for the New York Mets. You consider that they started out against Florida and then Montreal and then Florida and Montreal again, and this is the way this team was playing, as you said, Howie, coming in having won 6 in a row is going to be the toughest task that they've had all year.
Well, the bases are loaded again.
We have seen that a lot, haven't we? Those pitches that don't even get to home plate. Dennis Cook last night threw a pitch, a 3-2 pitch, way out of the strike zone, and he was so mad at himself. I saw him before the game today. He said, yeah, I hate walking guys, but especially not even allowing the hitter to have a chance to get himself out if you throw it so far from the strike zone. So bases loaded again, and Bobby Bonilla will pinch hit.
Well, Bobby Bonilla, who took most of this week off, resting that sore knee, getting a chance with the bases loaded. And he goes after the first pitch, fouls it off. J.T. Snow puts it away. So the Mets leave the bases loaded for the 3rd straight inning, and they've still put up 9.
The river. I dropped my Bud Light in the river.
The river? For the love of so much, not the river. Bud Light in the river. Oh, well, here we go again.
Who's with me? Show your hand!
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
No, Stumpy!
Right now at Pep Boys, get 35,000-mile Cornell tires in 9 sizes for just $99. Or double your mileage with 70,000-mile Futura radials, 4 for $169. Pep Boys, cars like us, people love us.
What do you dream of when you dream of nothing? Nothing for a down payment. Nothing for a first month's payment. Nothing for a security deposit. For a total of nothing due at lease signing on Oldsmobile's award-winning Intrigue for a limited time with a lease offer of $299 a month. Call toll-free for details. Intrigue by Oldsmobile. Think nothing. Start something.
Okay, so everyday errands aren't always so rewarding. That's why Chase introduces the Chase Continental Airlines banking card. The first debit card that rewards you with one-pass miles. Use it instead of cash or checks and get miles for every little thing you buy. Because when shopping seems less than rewarding, at least you've earned some miles. Another great reason to open a Chase checking account. Chase, the right relationship is everything.
New York Mets baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Stop by your local Toyota dealer and test drive a Camry. Toyota every day. Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who remind you that fresh beer tastes better. General Motors, people in motion. Yahoo! Do you Yahoo? And by the new Dodge. It's about change. Marvin Bernard against Rigo Beltran, who comes out of the bullpen to work the 9th inning for New York. 9-4 Mets. 1 ball, 1 strike to Bernard. So this is just some work for Rigo Beltran. It is not a save situation with the Mets holding a 5-run lead.
It's also a situation when you've got Josias Manzanillo, who had a tough 8th inning, came in and struck out the side in the 7th, and longer than he would have liked to have pitched in the 8th inning. And Bobby Valentine said, well, no, let's not give him 3 innings. 2 is enough, depending on how many pitches he had thrown, probably.
Fouled off by Bernard, 2-2.
Beltran pitched against the Padres here at Shea on April 27th. Worked a perfect 3 innings of shutout baseball. One of the outstanding relief pitchers, different look. Left-handed thrower, a little bit different type of pitcher than Dennis Cook.
Low, a full count to Bernard.
Short arms the ball a little bit, sneaky fast.
And speaking of Cook, he probably was not going to be available today, having worked an inning and 2/3 last night, an inning the day before. So Dennis Cook has been able to enjoy a day off. Very enjoyable day for John Franco. And a leadoff walk issued to Marvin Bernard here in the 9th inning. Tell you why it was an enjoyable day in a moment for John Franco, in case you joined us late. But first, we want to make sure you know that closed captioning is provided as a public service by 1-800-Mattress. Leave off the last S for savings. John Franco honored by the New York Mets before the game today, and the man who used to wear number 45 around here, Tug McGraw, surprised everybody by driving a brand new Harley motorcycle in from the Mets bullpen and presenting it to John Franco. 0-2 now to Armando Rios. And another Met will be honored tonight. Alan Watson will go into the Christ the King High School Hall of Fame this evening. Watson, the winning pitcher last night. Beltran has struck out Rios on 3 straight pitches, 1 away. So Rigo Beltran, starting his 2nd season with the Mets, was up and down with them last year after coming over from the St. Louis Cardinals. Gets the first one after walking Bernard, and now it'll be Ellis Burks.
You're talking about Alan Watson, who pitched very well here last night. Went down there. He didn't care less about talking about his pitching. He wanted to talk about his hitting.
Don't all of you pitchers.
Absolutely. Those hitters love, pitchers
you know what?
love to talk about their hitting.
You would have appreciated this, because when I was doing the pre- and post-game show on radio here, I had to deal with all the pitchers. Dwight Gooden started it, 1-1 to Burks. If a pitcher did anything special with his bat during the game, he didn't care if he pitched a no-hitter. He came on the post-game show. The first thing he wanted to talk about was his hitting. That's pretty good hitting pitchers on that team back in the 80s,
that
too.
They did.
You know, Doc Gooden, Sid Hernandez swung the bat well. Ronnie Darling was a good hitter.
Yeah.
1-1 to Burks. Off speed, 2-1.
We had some hackers in '69.
Did you guys play that same game in BP that the pitchers do now, where they basically split up? And I guess they add up a lot of things, not the least of which are home runs.
We had split up the teams, starters against relievers, lefties against righties, or whatever. We used to play different kinds of games, get them over, get them in, home run, base hits.
How about
base
bunting?
hits
Did you guys work enough on bunting?
Always bunted. With Gil Hodges, the manager of the New York Mets, you think we've worked on bunting? Look at this play.
Up the middle, Lopez for 1, but not in time to double up Ellis Burks.
The best part of that play is great composure on Lopez's part. They get the 1 out. Odd times, players will get greedy and try to make the spectacular play, and this is not an easy play to begin with. And the balance of Lopez takes him around the outside of that bag, and very, very, very calm. That's a real sign of a real good young professional. Maintains his balance and comes out and gets 1 out of that. You got to get at least 1 out of that situation.
And 1 out is all the Mets need now to end this one. 0-1 to Jeff Kent. Rigo Beltran trying to close things out. And he's a strike away from doing it. Who knows? You know, Rick Reeves, when he comes off the disabled list, will have to clear some room for Reeves, so somebody's going to have to go down. Don't know whether or not that necessarily would be Beltran.
Don't know if it's a starter. Don't know if it's a reliever.
Some of that could depend on how Masato Yoshii performs tomorrow. But right here, it's 0-2 to Kent with 2 outs in the 9th. Put it in the books. Jeff Kent is called out on strikes. And the Mets have made it 4 in a row, winning the first 2 from the Giants this weekend. 9-4, your final this afternoon. Brian McRae had the big blow, a grand slam, as the Mets beat the Giants 9-4. We're coming back.
An unlikely ally or a true enemy? Earth's final conflict. Tonight at 6 on the WB11.
Both these men have athlete's foot. But only one used Desinex, the soothing cure. Desinex has a dual-action formula that calms the itching and cools the burning. And Desinex is clinically proven to kill the fungus dead, so your feet feel good while they heal. Got athlete's foot? Get dual-action Desinex. Soothes while it cures.
During Adventure 99, Dodge will give you a great lease deal on a Dodge Ram. Or, if you buy a Dodge Dakota, get your choice of a $1,000 cash allowance or a great vacation package worth up to $1,800 at the new Universal Studios Islands of Adventure theme park in Orlando, Florida. It's the adventure of a lifetime, and we have the rides to prove it. See the friendly Dodge dealer near you.
You're staying in Suite 806. You're feeling pretty good. Maybe it's because you have a living room and a bedroom. Or maybe it's because when you open the door to leave 806, you're met by something other than the door to 807. Embassy Suites, a design for living.
Howie Rose, Tom Seaver back here at Shea Stadium. The Mets defeat the Giants 9-4. Here's the GM turning point of the game. Sometimes they come late, Tom, but this afternoon, really the turning point came early.
Well, Earl Hershiser battled the entire game when he was in there, and they loaded the bases. He struck out Marvin Bernard, and then Armando Rios out at first. And
take the chance, and you just don't do it. That's smart. But he had a chance for an advantage, and now he's